T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
LadyChann! Fight!
Yo, how you girl? It's LadyChann nonetheless. This light on this, welcome to Combox with Shan, members only. This light has packed it in. It's left the builders in. So I don't know if I can use this light as the, I don't know what's happened. Muy interesante, muy extraño. Yeah, I think it's just said I've been on far too long. I have to see where this is showing. It's just on the flashing lights. Does my mic sound nice? Checkity check 1, check 2. Sorry, I'm a bit late. No, usualmente. But yes, okie dokes. Oh, slipped off a bit. Okay. This, yeah, it's supposed to be there. That's it. More comfortable. Okay, I'm reloaded. Okay. Shan is in the building. Okay, so we have to do the roll of call. You know. Let's do the roll of call. And then we'll get on to this also being the members only in soon. But we give it, we'll have a little run. Okay. Okay. I think I need to turn that. Right, radio. So, Modern King Boxing in the building. Jimmy McClendon in the building. Ringside Reporter Live in the building. King Boxing in the building. What up, LadyChann? Lisa Bell's in the building. Stephen T in the building. Mark Niggity Nash in the building. Donald Banks in the building. No, he's off now. AJ Alday in the building. Charlo in the building. King TJ in the building. El Primero Applicant in the building. Dr. Paul in the building. Devil Beats in the building. Matt Artinet in the building. D-Star in the building. Dub Rightside in the building. Slim Boxing Commentary in the building. Hector Garcia, mi esposa numero uno in the building. Mark in the building. Ricky Ricardo in the building. Mi hermano. Ben Adams in the building. ERF Boxing in the building. Don Juan in the building. Ya tú sabes. Ivo in the damn. Okay. Oh man, that we really do need that light over there though, don't we? But hey, what can a girl do when they start? I've got another one somewhere as well. Okay. Let me put the link actually, and then we will, what we do where we do. We do where we do. We back in the building. Yes, we are indeed. I don't know. Let's go. Can we have you? Can we have you? Or because we're going to be speaking about Meg the Stallion. All right, I need to change this as well, don't I? So let's make this. Oh, okay. Well, I'll change it in a minute. Shannon Briggs, aka Ben Adams. Step your game up. Step your game up. Okay. We are back in the Ostania, in the building. What up, LadyChann? All right, so let me just get these to banner done then, because y'all be acting like you're shy. Don't make me be up on here. Nothing. Because a bitch will jump off straight. I struggled to do this, so. What is this called? Okay, so. Okay. There we go. That has to be there. Let's change that to STALLION. Case. Case. In ship. Sorry, my quiet and I. Trying to concentrate. Where are y'all? I think I know. Lisa has her engagement. Can I see any troopers up on the panel? Mark Niggity Nash in the building. I'm waiting. I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting. Lights. Camera. No. No lights. No camera. No action. So yeah. What's my opinion on this case? Oh God. So I haven't caught up what's happened in bit today, Mark, was that I think Kelsey was they played Kelsey's previous 80-minute interview, didn't they, with the police that she did, I think shortly after the shooting. And what I'm seeing is, so basically where we're at, I haven't got notes, but I shall write as I speak. So Kelsey has immunity. She has two types of immunity. There's two, which are, it's all technical. One from the prosecution, a specific one, but it had to kind of like terms and conditions. I think it was that it was kind of termed as a loose, I think, immunity or something. And her team was like, she came in lawyered up, and her team was like, no, we can't have no loose nothing. So they wanted one that was more strict, I would say. So that was done, and that was granted, and that was signed off. But the judge is one of those judges that he likes, if you plead the fifth, you've really got, because she came in pleading the fifth, you really have to know what know why you're pleading the fifth, and it has to be approved by the judge. So that was approved, but she was told that she had to answer some questions. Use immunity, okay, that's what it's called. So she does have to answer some questions. So basically, she went on the stand. Remember, she is the prosecution's. She's the prosecution's thingamajig. She's the prosecution's star witness, mate. Star witness. Blanket immunity. She wanted blanket, but I think blanket is when it's But the only thing she could be charged for is perjury. So let me just pull over to this. Where we at? 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 Yeah, I'm just waiting for couple of people. But let me get something. Who is it? I put together a little montage of everything. So I'll just play it for the moment. Give me a minute, 1 sec. Let me just pick that up. Okay, that is there. Okay, I'm reloaded. Yeah, okay. YouTube Studio. Let me just get this for y'all. Okay. Wonder if I need it from. No, I don't. Check. No, I don't. Let's take it off here. Okay. YouTube. We got it here. Just a quick update. Shouts out to you, Mark, because yeah, I watched bits of your show yesterday, but it was mad late, so I had to go to bed. Let me take off the banner. God. Okay, so moving like snail pace out here. Snail pace. Chrome tab. There we go. There we go. But hang on.
Trial, we had opening statements. Opening statements are still actually going. We had to pause midway through for lunch. Better than TV. If you watch the prosecution's opening statement, you would say guilty. If you then watch the defense's opening statement, you would say, what the hell is the prosecution thinking, charging him? Basically, the prosecution started with this story. They said that, hey, they're all at the party, and Tory is leaving the party with Meg. They're in the car. An argument breaks out, during which Meg says and insults his skills as a rap artist. This leads to a situation where she gets out of the car and he shoots at her feet and yells, "Dance, bitch." And then she ends up at a hospital, and a doctor takes out 3 fragments of bullet wounds from her foot. Now, if you just hear, and the prosecution says that Kelsey, the other woman in the car, is going to testify that Tory shot Meg. And Kelsey has a text message where she texts somebody that, hey, Tory shot Meg. And then the rest of the prosecution's case is based on all these calls and texts where Tory's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so drunk. He never says that I shot him. He's like, oh, I'm just so sorry. I'm so drunk. So question what he's apologizing for. So That's the prosecution's case. Seems pretty easy. Then the defense comes up, and man, it gets spicy. First, the defense goes, they're not telling you about half of what's going on. The most important thing they're not telling you about an eyewitness who saw two women fighting, Kelsey and Meg. And so let's talk about why them two are fighting. Let's talk about how she was in the front seat. The gun was caught in the front seat. Let's talk about how she might have gunpowder. She does have gunpowder. Let's talk about how this has nothing to do with the fight between Tory and Meg and everything to do with the fight between Meg and Kelsey. And then the defense starts dropping the bombs. He basically says this, that they're in the car. Yeah, they left. But do you know why they left? They left because Kylie and Tory were in the pool together. And Kelsey and Meg both felt some type of way about that, to the point that Meg felt really some type of way about that. And she was really trying to go, to the point that eventually, because of how Meg is acting, this is according to the defense, Kylie Jenner goes to Meg Thee Stallion and says, it's time for you to leave. They all leave. The defense's point is what happens in the car is this. Tory questions Kelsey, hey, Kelsey, why are you backing up Meg for me trying to, get it on with Kylie Jenner? Meg has been snaking men from you your whole life. I hooked up with you, Kelsey, and then Meg went behind your back and hooked up with me. And Kelsey, this is not the first time. You had been hooking up with Ben Simmons. Meg went behind your back and hooked up with Ben Simmons. You had been hooking up with the baby. Meg went behind your back and hooked up with the baby. And so the defense starts dropping all these grenades. The crowd is captivated. The jury's like, oh, what's going on? And there's every reason to believe that there could have been a fight here, not between Tory and Meg, but between Meg and Kelsey. And the shooting could have not been Tory. It could have been done by any one of the other people in that car. What does all of this mean? Well, I'll tell you a couple things. First, Corey Gamble, Kris Jenner's husband, is going to testify, so this will continue to be must-see TV. Two, the judge is terrific. I expect a very fair trial. The lawyers on the defense side are terrific. I don't know what the government lawyer was doing, giving an opening presentation that made it seem like the most open and shut case ever, when in fact there are huge questions, including an eyewitness who saw two women fighting, suggesting that you have to explain that theory to the jury, and you didn't. So I don't love the prosecution's opening in that regard. Stay tuned. We'll have the full coverage here. It's up and it's stuck in the Tory Lanez. All right, we're back with the rest of the update in Tory Lanez. So we are taking our afternoon break. There's going to be more testimony at the end of the day, but right now, let me catch you up on what's happened since lunch. The defense continued and concluded their opening statement. They confirmed that their theory of the case is going to be that Kelsey was the shooter. Tory was just trying to break up the fight. Then the prosecution went up. They put on a police officer as their first witness. This is the police officer who arrived at the scene of the shooting. He testified about how he saw gun casings, blood spatter. This was a big mistake, in my opinion, because the defense attorney ended up tearing this police officer's testimony to shreds. He basically got the officer to admit that they did not use the proper evidence markers to mark and identify the location of every piece of evidence. So the police cannot tell you where blood was found exactly in relation to the gun casings, where, based on the trail of blood, the victim would have walked around. They can't tell and paint the whole story of what happened when the person got out of the car. Why, if you can't paint that story, why, if you didn't use the evidence markers, why, if you purportedly have a very simple case, did you waste your time making your first witness a police officer whose testimony is going to get torn to shreds by the defense attorney? Big mistake, in my opinion, if you ask me. From here going forward, the defense will always be able to point out that the government's investigation is completely incapable of telling the jury about the movement of the victim outside of the car. So if you're trying to inject reasonable doubt, alternative theories, you've now done a great job setting it up that the government's story has holes in it.
Okay, so I'm just watching a little bit of that. Oh yeah, I'm introducing, do 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 do, introducing, do 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 do, introducing. What up, LadyChann? King in the baptism. Ding, 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 ding. What up, girl? I was just playing. Hiya. What up?
That's right. How you doing today?
I'm all right, thank you. Was just playing bits of this Meg the Stallion and Tory case. I don't know where everybody is. Everybody's pinging me to death like half an hour before the show starts, and I'm like trying to be ready. They're making me late, and then now I think Arlette's probably falling asleep. I think Lisa does have thingies. I don't know. AJ's sick. Well, he said he was sick. yesterday.
What? It's still early. Everybody falling asleep.
Yeah, I know. You know, they're lames. Y'all are lames. You just about made it. So she could still get in. Okay, so all right. So basically, I need to catch up on what she's did, what the statement was today, because I know that Meg, that Kelsey went in today and they played her first statement, what she gave to the police back in, was it July or September 2020 or something like that, and you know, where she does accuse Tory of shooting Meg. She has been literally she's fucked up the whole case though, because they can't prove beyond reasonable doubt. The only one who is on trial here, by the way, I want people to know this, is only Tory Lanez. It's not Kelsey. It's not Meg the Stallion. Meg the Stallion is the prosecutor. Tory Lanez is defending his name. So they have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that he did the shooting. And so far they cannot prove that because the star witness has basically recanted most of her shit for
Kelsey
community.
basically is reasonable doubt. It's a
Yeah,
wrap.
yeah,
I mean,
she is reasonable doubt. It's
it
a
goes both ways. That's what's crazy. Because really, if they flip it, he gets off on this. I mean, literally, but I think she asked for immunity already. So
she's already got immunity. So yeah, transactional immunity protects a witness from prosecution for the offence involved. Use immunity only protects the witness against the government's testimony in a prosecution of the witness. So she has use immunity, so he's saying, Mark. Because I know she tried to get 2 and they granted her 2. But go ahead, Edward. What do you think of this case?
it's a wrap. The thing about it is you don't know. I mean, regardless, to me, it kind of looks from when they were talking about the investigation. The police took an opportunity to try to run with a young dude, didn't really take the time to properly investigate everything. You have a person that you say she wasn't even outside, but she has the damn gunpowder on her residue. So it's like, what the hell? Then you don't properly gather evidence. You don't mark the scene properly. It just seemed like they were trying to railroad Tory, and Lanez is part of the new generation that actually have lawyers and shit. And they completely exposed them. Prosecution's done a terrible job. It's like they had no plan B when they needed multiple plans. It's just like, oh, we're just gonna say it was you, and not even understand what their star witness was going to even testify on the stand. It's crazy. Tory will be at the house.
Yeah, she's fucked up their whole case. She's fucked up. But this guy and this other girl, I forget her name, Magla something. She's been covering the case, writing it verbatim. What's been going on in the courtroom, what Kelsey said, what the prosecution said when they go to cross, what the defense have said. So for me, I don't know now if it is, because I was like, maybe Kelsey's the shooter in the library with the spanner. You know, it's like Cluedo. You guys call
Clue.
it. Yeah, you guys call it Clue. We call it Cluedo. Always have to be different in the UK. Why is it called Cluedo?
Yeah, why is that?
Cluedo. It's Cluedo here. Cluedo. Cluedo. It's weird, isn't it? And we pronounce it Cluedo, not Cluedo.
Oh wow. Interesting.
Everything you do is doing the most extra. What up, though, Ben? Yeah, we back in Uzdanya. We are there. We are there.
Ivo, what's up, G?
So she should. So these guys. This is still not on members yet. So it's just I was just rocking because I didn't see anyone at the minute, and everyone had gone super quiet. Shan and Edward show. It's the Shan and Edward show.
The beautiful LadyChann.
Thank you very much.
The voice of the South.
And the voice of the South, the best voice of the South, may I add. Yeah, no, nobody can touch that voice. Nobody, you know, and we're here to find out. Nobody, baby. And yeah, we're here to find out the truth. This is what's going on right now.
Colonel Jessup, did you order the code red?
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The prosecution can't handle the truth. Because what they're doing is they're badgering Kelsey right now. They was badgering her to change her story. Like, you said, so by them playing this 80-minute thing, I need to go on the see what's happening, because by her saying what she said then, and then now saying that she felt under pressure by the prosecution, it seems like her and Tory Lanez are all gun-ho to get Meg. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever really know what the hell happened. I'm slowly leaning. Yeah, I know the whole thing sounded stupid to me. Then when they described the story, dancing, he started shooting. I'm like,
yeah, she said that
this
never happened.
Sounds stupid. Yeah. It doesn't make any, like, it sounds so cartoonish. I'm like, people don't talk like that, even Canadians. It's just stupid. I was just like, so we go from that to, I think I had told you before, there was some other things that they were, he got mad because he found it's just a whole bunch of, it sounded like really they got an argument, and I don't know, one or two things, either the young lady, was it Kelsey, what's her name?
Kelsey,
either she did the shooting, or she was Megan was jumping on her, and Tory was like, get off or I'm going to shoot. Because when they asked him, did he ever say anything about shooting, she's like, yes. And then she's like, okay, well, why did he say that? Or they followed up, and she's like, I can't say the fifth. It kind of led me to believe, okay, if Tory did shoot, were they in a real bad physical fight, and he was trying to get Megan's big ass up off her? And I don't know. It's reasonable doubt all over it. There's no way that any jury going to be able to come to any. If anything, it might get this a straight acquittal, and he might be at the house.
Yeah.
And then, even then, let's say you flip the script, because now the prosecutor is like, you're trying to come at your own witness that makes you even look worse. Like, did you do your homework? How are you coming at her? She's on your side. She's your key to the story.
Star witness. And basically it's kind of a thing where she can just, so with this immunity that she's got, couldn't she just not say, well, because she's pled the fifth. So you guys have that if any testimony will incriminate. But the judge has said she can plead the fifth, but there are questions that she does have to answer. And with the type of immunity, she still has to answer some questions. But could she just not say, you know what, we tussled for the, I did it? Or will she still get prosecuted for that? Because she's been immune. Because I think it's just her and Tory have basically gone into cahoots and just been like, well, you're going to get immunity, because this immunity thing came only like a few days prior that she came in. Like, her lawyer had to have spoken to the judge to put the judge up on that. We're coming in under the Fifth Amendment in the building. Yeah. And so this was prepared. So maybe she has already spoken to Tory, and Tory's like, listen, if they grant you the immunity, you just have to basically not incriminate me, so they can't prove beyond reasonable doubt, and the case is blown for Meg. I have to add in 3 picks. I forgot. Yeah.
It makes it extremely vague, because here's the flip side. If he gets a clear, I don't see how it will be a hang. I think he'll get straight acquittal, because there is reasonable doubt. It's all over the case. So if he gets acquitted, you can't prosecute him again. It's basically a done deal. So if somehow they flip it around, because what she's not doing is she's taking a fifth so she doesn't perjure herself. Like, you can hear she's trying not to tell any further lies now that she's under oath. But she's also at the same time saying that I did lie prior to the police. But people are like, oh, she was lying to the police. But you guys gotta understand, in America, the police are allowed to lie to you. So if somebody feels scared or they feel, and they have certain tactics, this is what they do. Come on, just tell us what happened. Oh, we know it was Tory all by himself. Look, you're gonna be all right. We're gonna take care of you. Blah, blah, this and that. And maybe at some point in time she got in trial. It's like, man, I'm not gonna keep lying for these dudes. I'm tired of this. And that's what they do. They're trying to take him down, because if you really think about it,
that's what they want.
If they just followed and said they had an altercation and they were both in on it, they could have just said, like you said, them getting in cahoots becomes negated because you both charged. But then you just went after Tory, and then you bring a witness on that you don't even know what she was going to say.
Well, I think she said she was going to say what she was going to say and just recant, because whatever she was going to say was going to incriminate her, wasn't it? So if she's got gunpowder residue, and the reason why she said she's got gunpowder residue is because they bumped up on each other. And she's denying, and this is where it gets a bit shady, where she's denying that her and Meg had a fight, a physical altercation. And Meg is denying they had a physical altercation. But yet there's like wig hair and fucking a nail, an acrylic nail, and some
signs of a female fight.
Yeah, signs of a full female scrap, mate. So
tracks on the ground.
Tracks on the ground. God, yeah. And they're denying it. So let me just play a little bit of the rest of my guys, so we can just get a little bit. But I will go to what he's reported today, because he's had to update. Hang on. So let's go. Share. Oh God, everybody's turned into lawyers, YouTube lawyers. Shouts out to the hip hop community. Hang on, actually, I have to mute it from here.
All right, we wrapped up the first day of Tory Lanez trial testimony. Let me tell you what happened at the end of the day. This will be a two-parter. On this first part, let's cover what prosecutors believe is their key piece of evidence after the testimony they expect to get from Meg and the other woman who's in the car. So here's the prosecutor's point, that there's a jailhouse phone call. Reminder to everyone, when you get arrested and you're sitting in jail, they are listening, they are recording. What you say on that phone will be used against you. According to prosecutors, Tory calls the other woman who was in the car, Kelsey, and basically admits to shooting and apologizes profusely to her. The problem with that theory, according to the defense, is that, well, he never says he shot her. He's just apologizing profusely, and he could be apologizing for a lot of things. According to the defense, the apology is for basically blowing up Kelsey's spot and revealing that he had been in a relationship with both of them. What side will the jury believe? It's way too early in the evidence. That call on its own means nothing. In fact, the evidence that was presented was through a detective. They asked that detective, hey, when did you listen to this jailhouse call? What can you tell us about it? He basically said, I heard it last week. They asked me to go retrieve it from the system. I retrieved it. I'm playing it here for y'all today. What does it mean? What does he mean? What's he talking about? I don't know that from that, so I couldn't really tell you, and he can't. And the jury is going to be looking at the rest of this evidence to really decide that, hey, man, when this guy's calling Kelsey and saying, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to, what's he talking about? This didn't occur to me yesterday during my coverage of the Tory Lanez trial. We're getting ready to go in here to day 2, but before I go in, let me tell you this point that sort of crystallized for me when I was on the No Jumper show talking about this case last night. Here is the prosecutor's theory of the case. And remember, prosecutors are supposed to have discretion. They're out searching for the truth. Here's their theory of the case, what they intend to prove at trial. Meg Thee Stallion exits the vehicle. Tory Lanez comes out behind her, shoots 5 times while yelling, dance, bitch. Meg runs away from him, walks away from him, hobbles away from him. She's now 20, 30 feet away from him inside a driveway of a residential home. She's not yelling, help, somebody call the police, nothing like that. They don't say that, but this is their account of the story. Okay, so let's just go back to just their facts. So she's there at the end, at the driveway. Kelsey comes out behind her. Kelsey goes to console her. So what does Tory do? Now he's walking towards her and Kelsey. What does Kelsey do? She sees that, this man who just shot her 5 times is coming for more. So she tries to intercept him. What does Tory do? He beats on Kelsey. physically assaults her. Kelsey has never said this truth to the police. No charges were ever pressed against Tory for Kelsey. The prosecutors are supposed to find the truth. They're supposed to use their discretion to find the truth. To me, if that's the story that they're going with, welcome to America. They're ODing on him like prosecutors do. And they're not talking about so many of the other events in this story that are critical to finding the truth. That's not. Trial is underway. It started with Meg the Stallion testifying. I'm going to take you through what she testified about in the morning. We're currently on lunch break. She's going to come back and complete her testimony this afternoon. It started with questions about TORY LANEZ. She testified that she knew him only for a short time leading up to this incident. They were friends. She was asked, were you intimate? She said yes. She was asked, were you exclusive? She said quite happily no. Then they asked her about her relationship with Kelsey. She said that she's known Kelsey since freshman year of college. How do you know her? How would you describe the relationship? I found her answer very interesting. She said, I quote, we did everything together. They asked her, hey, how do you feel about being here today? She was struggling through the testimony. I was a little surprised at her answer. She said, I don't feel good. I can't believe I have to come do this. Not really sounding like a victim to me. She's a strong Black woman. That's the image that the jury, I think, would have gotten of her. And I expected her to say something more like, I'm here for justice. I'm here to tell my truth. That man shot me. They asked her about when they left the party and when Tory got there. So she explained that initially she had gotten there with a larger group of people. Then later she asked Tory to come. By the time Tory got there, it was a lot fewer people. Day 2 of the Tory Lanez trial is underway. It started with Meg the Stallion testifying. I'm going to take you through what she testified about in the morning. We're currently
Thought I heard the beep. Didn't see that you there. You back?
Yeah, I'm here. I was having for some reason it was stalling. I'm like, is that my connection or is it her video? And I realized it's something to do with mine.
It's you. It's you. I don't believe Tory shot Meg. I believe there was a struggle over the gun and the gun went off 5 times. What up,
Yeah.
Modern King? Yeah, that's what they're trying to possibly imply. Now, listen, Meg's made herself uncredible as well, because she's lied. She, okay, at least it's in there. Because she has lied. For one, when she was on the, was it the Gail? Who's it? Gail? What's her name? Is it Gail King or something?
Gail King.
Yeah. Oh, Sadiq Khan, let's go. Oh no. She said that she'd never slept with Tory Lanez. We all knew that was a lie. Cap when she initially said that. To be honest. So that was a lie. Because she's gone in there now and admitted that she had and said that she had lied. And then she said she doesn't remember back to the house because she used the excuse of her slipper being left at the house. Go buy if your slipper. I don't care if it's a Versace one. I don't care if it's anything. It's a slipper. You can get it tomorrow. It's not that deep. So she made that excuse. Oh, I left my slipper at the house, so we got to go back. It's because Tory didn't want to leave. So the dance bitch was refuted by Kelsey. There's too many inconsistencies in this story. They're a mess. I don't even.
She's a terrible Meg. Meg is a terrible witness. If that was the reason that you went back, if she had literally, if you like, okay, all this transpired because you're talking about a slipper, get out of here. It just sounds, this sounds all stupid. And to be honest, like I said, it's to me, like initially when I looked at it later, because I didn't know, I don't know what these fucking people do, but it's like a publicity stunt. Like her ass, yeah, I know she actually got shot, but it's like she turned it into something else. And it's just like you're all over the place. Like, look, I'm sorry, I've never been shot before, but I promise you, the day I get shot, I'll know the story verbatim, exactly what the hell happened. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna have all kind of renditions of the story. And then you're trying to front.
Yeah, that's the thing where it's why people's not on her side. It's the thing is, if you don't know who shot you, just that you should have came out from day and said, I'm not sure, I'm not sure, but you know, these fragments have got in my foot. I saw she said she's seen Tory with the gun and Tory shot her. If you're lying on someone, if you don't know who shot you, then you can't. This is where everyone wants to rain down on her because they don't. She doesn't. It seems like she doesn't know who shot her.
I think
She
she
said
just
that.
got shot, and she realized she got shot, and she just started. I don't know, just pointing fingers or deciding, oh, that's the last person I remember with a gun, or it's just crazy. It doesn't make any sense. It's bad. Like I said, it looks like for as much time as went by, like they're not even prepped for the case or something. This is a sloppy. The prosecution is extremely sloppy, man. This is just a joke. Now
Very
he's just
much.
bragging out for nothing right now because Tory's not even gonna have to take the stand. It's a wrap. They're bickering with each other. You got your own witnesses contradicting each other. Like, what the hell?
This is a mess. I vote in the Uzdania. What up,
Hey, how's
Jack?
it going?
We're in the building. Mate, have you been following this tragic case?
Vaguely here and there. I listen to the news. Kind of like I honestly look at it the way I looked at like the Johnny Depp shit. I'll listen to like a thing that what's the latest update, then I'm like, okay, well, it doesn't impact my life, so
Onwards and upwards.
and exactly onwards and outwards.
Have you got any comments about this? Because it's
It's a
there's a
shit
lot.
show.
It's a shit show.
It's a shit show.
It should have just got thrown out.
The prosecution is like has a thumb up their ass. The defense is kind of meh. It's like this is like the last case you want to like really publicize as has been publicized. Because it just makes the entire system look retarded, and excuse my language, but
it does. It does. There's two. I don't. At this point, I'm trying to decipher who's lying. Are they all three lying? God.
Deep down, we all know both sides are kind of shitty people.
Yeah, I mean, because Meg's already said. I will pull up some bits from this girl. She's hilarious. She's from I want to say Houston. Texas, and she does great commentary from she does it with DJ Academics and comes in and chimes in, and that's where I first found her from DJ Academics. And I think she's gonna have a good career in because she writes it verbatim, so she must either write super quick or she can write in shorthand because she does the whole everything that everybody says in the court, like, and that's quite wild. But we'll go on to her anyway. So the lies. Let me get the lies. So Meg said there was no intimacy. Meg said she doesn't remember going back to the house. Meg said there was no fight. Go ahead.
Well, I just remember because I remember Kelsey, I believe that was her name, Kelsey something.
Yeah.
Her friend, like, one, she asserted her Fifth Amendment right against the fucking self-incrimination, like, whatever the hell. And she tried to use, I think she was granted the use immunity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, by prosecutors, like, before she even began her testimony. And then she admitted to lying to the prosecutors about what she told them, like, in September. And then, bro, it's such a weird case.
It's a shit show.
It's a horrible case.
The most she can be done is, I guess, maybe for perjury. And I mean,
which is still a federal crime, so it's like,
oh, okay. I thought you don't get that much. People perjure them. Maybe if they just want to make an example. I mean, anyway, back to so intimate. She lied. She doesn't remember going back to the house. She says there was no fight. She doesn't remember sleeping with two of other Kelsey's hookups because Meg had hooked Kelsey up with Tory, and and then when Kelsey caught COVID, she left and went back to Texas, Houston or Dallas. I want to say Houston, but I'm not sure. She might not even be from any of those two. And Meg was in the house. I remember because we used to tune into Tory's quarantine radio when it was. I don't know if you guys ever tuned into that, and it was on Instagram. And he used to have all like girls dancing around, and it was fun. Like he would play tunes. It was sick. I mean, when using the lockdown, it was so sick. But
I think. Did you hear her testimony when she's like, and he came out of the car and he was like, "Dance, bitch," and started shooting and everything. And I'm thinking, damn, when the way she said it, I'm like, damn, he must be like Yosemite Sam, 2 fucking pistols on both sides coming out blasting.
Yeah, with a mega pint. I had me a mega
pint, exactly.
Basically, it's bollocks. Kelsey said that she was like, where did they get that from? She was like that.
She's seen one too many mafia movies, you know.
Yeah, and the lights.
Nobody talks like that. That's what I was saying earlier. Like nobody. Look, man. I've seen a lot of encounters. I've never been like dance. Like what?
Dance to make, dance to make you dance. I don't know. She thinks it. It was Meg that made that up.
So stupid. I love it.
So anyway, so basically, while Meg was shacking up with Tory, she ends up they start sleeping together behind Kelsey's back. So Kelsey's none the wiser. She's got COVID for 2-3 months. She's away. For 2-3 months she's away. And so basically she's only found out that Meg's sleeping with Tory, you know, the night of this. But Tory, the little fucking midget scumbag, we
call him Yosemite Sam in these parts.
He's trying to kick game to Kylie Jenner, you know, because they've invited him. Well, Meg has. Like, can Tory come? So he comes, like, you know, a few hours later, and there's a lot of drink. You know, Meg, she can chug that shit down, mate. And Kelsey says she passes out when she wakes up. I saw the live of them in the jacuzzi, actually. And Tory looked like he was getting on Meg's nerves. Well, Meg looked like she was agitated with Tory because there was Meg here, Tory kind of behind here, and Kylie was right. No, Tory kind of behind, Meg here, and Kylie here. And every time Tory was talking, Meg was like, oh, like, you know, she was agitated. But you was agitated because you was jealous. Why are you jealous for?
Because he's like 2'3".
Yeah.
He's got some fucked up like facial hair going. He's got the fucking looks like a geometry question with his fucking jawline. I understand, man. You know, deep down, it's little person syndrome.
It's awful. He's awful. And then he had the hair transplant around here.
Yeah, he had the Floyd Mayweather fucking pubic hair transplant on his head.
Hair in the middle, really, because I remember when he was on Breakfast Club and they panned over and he was like, "I'll fuck you up." Like, he threatened the cameraman, "Don't you dare go over." Like, because he only had this. Who does that and doesn't get the middle done?
Well, honest to God, it's like Moses parted the Red Sea on this motherfucker's head, man.
It's horrible. It's horrible. But anyway, yeah, it's horrible. So basically, Meg's all agitated then. Kelsey's woken up, she said. She's a bit less drunk. Meg's belligerent. And they don't all get chucked out at this point. It's that, oh yeah, this is what they said. Because Meg was getting on everyone's nerves, Kelsey said, I just had to make up a lie and say, "Bitch, your wig's slipping. Like, it's coming off, girl. It's coming off." And then that's what made her say, "All right, we got to go." But they were supposed to go with, I want to say they were supposed to go with EJ and not Quan, who was Tory's kind of like temporary security guard. And Meg was making up so much noise. Anyway, they left. And like I said, She made the excuse to come back because she couldn't believe that scumbag was literally hanging out in the jacuzzi that I saw them hanging out in. He wanted to kick game to Kylie. So he don't have no respect for no Meg, no Kelsey, no nothing. And yes.
But did you hear the defense's like opening statement? It was pretty like literally, if I was to paraphrase the statement, it was like Meg's a floozy. All right, she slept with her best friend's man multiple occasions. Like my client got outraged, and so she tried to bust a cap in her. That's literally what they try. That's literally like the fucking Spark Notes version of the opening testimony.
That's a good, but that's good for his defense because then that doesn't
calls
prove
character into question.
doubt. Then it doesn't prove he gets off the case like that. He can blame it on her and with no malice because they've probably been in cahoots to say, listen, we've got the immunity now. So my whole case is going to be blaming you and you're not going to say it was me. And that doesn't prove beyond, now there's doubt. So the case is all about proving beyond reasonable doubt, which they can't do. They've got Meg's going to be looking like the old. Oh, anyway, she also slept with the baby behind Kelsey's back.
Which baby?
And a guy called Ben.
Which Ben?
Not Ben Adams. Who's you, Ben?
Oh, that's a man's name. The baby.
Yeah, he's some rapper. Yeah,
Yes,
not an actual baby.
Oh. As opposed to the adolescents.
Yeah, as opposed to the adult.
Oh, yeah, look. This is why I feel like, man.
Meg is a bit go round. Go ahead.
She's a jump off. Look, this is the thing about it, y'all. It don't matter what fame or money somebody has. A hoe's a hoe, and she's sitting around doing stuff. Has the nerve to have an attitude. You can just tell. I'm not gonna front. I don't know her, but you look at her. She does look like the type of person to get on your nerves, getting drunk, acting unruly, and it's like, oh, Tori's doing this. Well, Tori look like. If the girls that don't know are the only ones should be mad, and he just fucking, you thought maybe you're gonna give him something, but he clearly don't respect none of y'all because y'all are just run-throughs to him. Because you guys, to him in his mind, the only person that probably has any respect is the first girl, because the rest of y'all are trash. Because he's met, even that's why we used to have rules. You did not date when in your circle of friends. If the homie dated you, guess what? Just never going to date you. I'm sorry, because it's this drama. Why would you even do that? But the ladies, oh yeah, she messed with him, but then I'm gonna sleep with him and think, oh, somehow you're gonna give him something that's gonna make him stick with you. Man, you letting this little short dude feel like a king.
I know.
Look, you leave Nacho Libre alone, okay?
No, you know, we must look beneath him. He's a small little man.
He's a small little man. You guys, come on.
And from the way he acts, he fits the fucking gremlin title.
Napoleon syndrome. He has that all day long. He's a small little man. He's 5'3".
Damn.
I was 5'3" when I was 8.
Seriously, man. My little sister's taller than 5'3". My sister's 5'6" and she's 13.
Oh.
You know, geez, my height. Wow. Yeah. Paulin's. This is what I'm saying. I don't know. Yeah. So she slept with three of her geezers. She's saying no, she hasn't. But you have. And because the baby came out and said in his rap that he had slept with Megan. And that was only maybe about a month ago. Came out in his lyrics. He's a lame anyway as well. 5'3" himself as well. Meg, what's it with these? You're a fucking stallion.
Well, his credibility is in the name. The baby. Babies don't lie. So, checkmate.
Yeah.
That's true. They're born innocent.
Exactly. So the baby is clearly innocent. I'm looking at a picture of him. He has some ugly teeth, but I respect him for making millions, I guess.
Yeah. He cancelled. He's en route to being cancelled.
He pulled a Kanye?
Yeah. No, it's just an idiot.
At Walmart, do all kind of wild shit.
Yeah, it just does wild shit. Just
God bless Walmarts.
Walmart's the most dangerous place in America.
So you're saying no, it seems like. So Megan is what you call a slag. Actual hechos, sí. Correcto. That's what they're called. That's what they're saying that she is. The lads are saying she's a bitch.
Community property.
Oh,
My
God.
uncle used to say this about his ex-wife that cheated on him. She had a big heart. She loved everyone a little too much.
That's a nice way. That sounds like a nice
She
way.
loved everyone just a little bit too much.
Yeah, it sounds nicer than she. Sounds better than that,
She
mate.
get a
Trust-
bag, you get a bag, everybody get a bag.
Yeah,
Never say that we're not a
Oh.
poetic people.
I know. Ukrainian. Understand. It's not your bag to be poetic, but that's a more polite way of saying that she's a hoe. So, give them 25 years. Someone says. Okay, so let's watch a little bit more as well. So just to get you up on game, because I do want to see what's happened, because I haven't really seen. I clicked on him because he does great updates, and we'll do it in a minute. We just need to click in. You better say my name.
Question: didn't the defense try to play the angle of like accident? I think.
Um, not to my knowledge.
I gotta
No.
rewatch the case
I
because I
think
remember.
they tried to say that.
They never had to, because from the gate when they messed up, they were able to pounce on everything. So they literally, it's like they morphed their case based on the prosecution. Prosecution's intro was so sloppy. They just went off that. They're like, oh, that's what you're going with? Okay. And that's pretty much
Yeah.
what it was. So it was never even like they even have to do that. They didn't even have to present it. They haven't even acknowledged that he had a good, they haven't had to acknowledge anything, because now at this point we don't know who got Meg might have shot herself. We don't know who had the gun the way it's come out. So they just have been like, prosecutors set the table so poorly that they don't even have to even address any of that.
No. Correct.
I will say this: from my limited interactions in the case, I did see a lot of like literally that Kelsey lady has pleaded the fifth more times than Coach Malachi's played that GIF. She's pleaded the fifth on practically everything.
Yeah, she's pleaded the fifth on where it comes to her possibly incriminating herself. But she has answered, but a part of her immunity thing, she does have to answer some questions. Because she tried to plead the fifth on a couple questions, and the judge, no, she must have said, do I have to answer that? And the judge was like, hell yeah.
Probably should.
Yeah. So hang on, let's have a look. Okay.
On lunch break. She's going to come back and complete her testimony this afternoon. It started with questions. Stallion has finished testifying. Let me catch you up on what happened in the afternoon session. It started with the prosecutor. 2 of the trial is in the books. Meg the Stallion has finished testifying. Let me catch you up on what happened in the afternoon session. It started with the prosecutor leading with this. She said, hey, Meg, I know we went a little fast this morning. I want to slow down. And Meg said, yeah, I was a little nervous. And then Meg actually said, these were her words. She said, I want to feel strong. I want to come off strong, and I didn't. And then she proceeded to testify, and she did come off a lot stronger and a lot more sure of herself in the afternoon session. There were powerful moments talking about, he shot me, talking about the pain and the trauma and the emotion this whole situation has caused her, talking about how she initially did not want to do this. She wanted to try to protect Tory. And so there were very powerful moments of the testimony. She explained that ultimately she did decide to go to the police and say that Tory was the shooter because of the false narratives that Tory had put out there. In her mind, she felt like she was a grown woman. She shouldn't have been hanging out with these people, getting involved in this mess. I'm not quite sure who these people that like she was referring to when she was like, oh, I shouldn't be hanging out with them. She was hanging out with like Kylie Jenner, her assistant, Tory Lanez. So I guess she just meant Tory. I thought that statement was very indicative about how Meg feels about this whole situation, which is basically that she did nothing wrong. She had nothing to do with this mess, and she just wants to be completely removed from the whole situation. She denied that Kylie Jenner told her to leave. She denied that the security guard, and Kelsey had at one point left and then came back because she said, I want to go back to get Tory. She said that it was the security guard who wouldn't leave without Tory, and that's why she was there. But at the same time, she also admitted that she didn't want to leave without Tory. So again, there was a lot of this. She just didn't want to say anything that made her image look bad, and I don't know why. She denied that there was any sort of relationship between Kelsey and Tory, which could have led to her being accused of going behind Kelsey's back. And like in the car, she admits that in the car, Kelsey accused her of going behind her back. So I don't know how she's denying that there's no relationship. The defense attorney asked her, hey, what did Kelsey mean when Kelsey said that this isn't the first time you've gone behind my back? And Meg said, oh, I don't know. Then we get to the shooting sequence, and I think the defense attorney did a really good job here focusing on the fact that, hey, did Meg Thee Stallion actually see who was shooting the gun? I don't think there's any doubt that 5 shots rang out. The question is, who pulled the trigger? Was somebody pointing at her, and who? The defense attorney established this, that Meg is in the front seat, front passenger, that Kelsey is directly behind Meg, and that Tory is in the rear passenger seat. He got Meg to testify this. Meg gets out of the car. She walks a couple steps to the front of the car by the absolute front, and then she goes a couple steps beyond that. All of this took a couple seconds. Within that time, apparently, Tory Lanez has made it from the rear passenger seat to now being on the passenger side. And from the passenger side, he pulls out a gun. She said he pulled the gun. From where, it's not clear, but he pulled the gun. He points it at her and shoots 5 times. Right before shooting, he yelled, dance bitch, leading her to turn around and then see him with the gun. He pulls it, points, shoots, 5 shots. Where's Kelsey in all this? She has no idea. What does she then do? She then crawls away. The part that the defense attorney focused on is how, in a matter of seconds, does he get from the rear passenger to having a gun in his hand to being on the passenger side in position to shoot over the window at you, all in a matter of seconds. To me, there had to be something else that happened in that sequence of events from the time she got out of the car and the time the shots rang out. And then she completely denied that there was any sort of altercation between her and Kelsey. As to whether there was an altercation between Kelsey and Tory, and there has to be some altercation because there's a fingernail on the ground and there's jewelry on the ground. And so and Kelsey has blood on her. Kelsey has her swimsuit strap ripped off. So how did that all happen? And apparently there was a bump. She says that I saw a bump between Tory and Kelsey. And I guess the prosecutors will use that to establish why Kelsey has got her strap ripped and jewelry on the floor broken and a fingernail lying on the middle of the street. Bottom line, her testimony was strong. It was powerful. It was a victim telling you that a man shot her. All right, so from here, I think there's 2 important issues with this case. One, what are the other witnesses going to say? What's the driver going to say? What's Kelsey going to say? And what is the neighbor? There was a homeowner who lived there, who's in the house that is very close, very adjacent to where all of this is unfolding. He would have seen and heard a lot. He's going to testify. The other thing, the defense did a really good job of establishing that, hey, Meg's timeline here of in a few seconds, Tory gets out of the rear passenger, gets onto the passenger side of the vehicle, yells, dance bitch, pulls a gun, lets out 5 shots. That there could have been a lot more that happened there in that sequence, because that's a lot of things happening in a very small amount of time. And it is not clear from Meg's testimony that a jury would go ahead and say, oh yeah, that man pulled a gun and he was shooting at. I could see the jury.
God, they're horrible people, all of them. God, I've never hated everyone at the same time.
Losers, isn't they? A lot of
God,
them.
you know what they sound like, bro? They sound like stereotypes from Jersey Shore, man. Like this Meg feels like a Snooki, and God damn, they're horrible people.
Que horrible. Que horrible. Yeah.
Disgusting people.
Que horrible. See, they're, this is horrible. This is we got to catch him up now. Let me show you what he's saying, because what he's saying today on his, go check him out on Instagram. There's another girl that I do watch.
In the great words of Future, she belonged to the streets.
She belonged to the streets, and that is 1,000,000%. Because, yeah, you're right. Atuale Josie, she keeps fucking my bad. Meg keeps fucking Kelsey's dues.
Well, you know, she's living by the Soviet credos of what's yours is mine and what's mine is yours. You know, it's very textbook socialism. So whatever.
Sad. That's what it is. Meg needs to calm down. Can I search who I'm following here? Let me get him. Lawyers. Oh yeah, there's Milag. She's good as well, actually. Let's go to her. Yeah, I do. Her lives are on her timeline, so I do. Okie doke. Okay, let's have a listen to her as well. King in the building. I don't know if he's disappeared. He seems to be on mute. He on mute. When he's on mute, when it's out loud on mute, he's on the double mute. Hang on. This is this girl that's look, hey, listen to this girl. Very, very stunning as well. Yeah. All right, Milagro. Yeah. She got a lot to say. She told the truth, man, and this is like, watch her now. Oh, hang on. How do you move this out the way? Get out the way. Move, bitch. Get out the way.
You could try full screening it. I'm not familiar with Instagram.
Yeah. I think you can. No, my bad. Look at those. Massive.
I be done forgot what I was saying so fast, but I remember. Where is the motherfucking reminder that your ass finna get the fucking beat? Hey, mother.
Hang on.
Why you not fucking with her? Why you not this?
Yeah.
Why Tory? You a woman.
You know I'm going through bliss because I don't give a fuck about nothing they ass say. But they do sit up on the internet all day with that bullshit. And I don't give a damn. I don't give a fuck. And at the end of the day, the only thing I'm gonna take away from this is that I think I might want some dick that when the nigga stop fucking with me, that I may want that nigga to go to jail. I think I want some dick like that. That when a nigga just stop fucking with me, we get into it, that I just don't even want to see him fuck nobody else in this whole wide world. I think we deserve a Tory sex tape at this point. I want to see his dick now.
Hold on. Kylie, like, no way.
It don't have to be him in particular, but I'm just trying to see something like what the fuck is going on. But yeah, not to just be flipping about it, but this shit ridiculous. This shit ridiculous. Sick of over it. We need to get this verdict and shit. Get into gun of them. I want to get in the YSL and show me some more shit now.
This is crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Hey, let me tell you this. If Gunna has to take the stand, I know you're going to be there. I'm going to have to show up too.
He better not get up there and do thugging no way.
The paperwork said if he's called, he got to do it.
You got to do it. What he going to say? He going to say what he said again.
Let me get where she's more direct about that because that was like the hanging out one. So, goddamn. It's a lot, isn't it? Jeez. Fucking idiot. Just going to show you her boobies. Hang on.
Why didn't Tory's legal team like put some objection to that, or is it possible that maybe like before trial starts, like tomorrow, they might just be like, hey, listen, judge, come on now, like playing 80 minutes of this shit. Remember, some jurors dick riders. They might go with whatever they heard last.
But you know what? Once again, if they do what they came to do, which is, identify if they feel like he committed a crime, Kelsey gave that testimony, and she has repeatedly said that she lied. She has repeatedly said that she felt pressured. She absolutely has made herself unreliable. So what can we do with that at this point? So anybody that wants justice to be served, at this point, I think that is fair, regardless of who you consider yourself believing, to understand that if you say that you believe 100% that Tory did it, you have to acknowledge that that's a lie. Like, come on. Now, after all of this shit, who can honestly say, yeah, I 100% believe that his life is on the line? This is 22 years. So after everything that's happened with this shit show, do y'all really think that he deserves to do this or go to prison for this shit when it's this fucking messy and we finding out all of this shit? Because when I say Shit got trumped up today. It got trumped up today. And I know why they want to push that audio is because Kelsey got up there and blew that whole shit up. That's all they got left. The judge said we could be done with this Friday or Monday. And the defense had a huge lead today in terms of speaking to witnesses and chopping their ass up and breaking them down. The defense today, once again, like in day one, when we went through the 5 witnesses and the police officers who were using pieces of paper as placards to mark this, phantom ass blood trail, they proved again today that the LAPD is incompetent. The LAPD, then we'll get into chronological order, but the LAPD got the robbery detective 2 days ago, told him 2 days ago, look at this Instagram post. Lil Jew made the beat, who posted this back in September of 2020. Said, y'all don't think that goofy nigga shot her? Yes, he did. Somebody commented and said, Kelsey shot Megan. And Tory Lanez's account said, Kelsey didn't shoot Megan. Okay. They said, did you even try to look up the IP address or what else posted from? Because celebrities have other people that post on their social media pages, right? He said, no, I didn't think it was relevant. They said, you don't think it's relevant in terms of trying to identify who may have posted that to look further? He said, was your duty to come up here and just basically say that Tory Lanez posted that? No, that's not why I'm here, but I didn't think it was relevant to look. That, I looked at that post, I went to his page, it was verified, and so that was it. What kind of fucking investigation is that? And they gave that to you 2 days ago? 2 damn days ago, they gave that shit to you. Sloppy. Yeah, sloppy. Well, okay, so we come back from lunch. Kelsey is still on the damn stand. They said before we broke, we spoke about the DA in 2022. They said you found out about the defense theory and the gun residue sample that they took that night. They said, did the detective tell you that they had that and all of that? She said, yeah, I found out that I had gunshot residue on me, but I don't know when I found it out. But yeah, they said, do you remember going to the station and being swabbed and your hands getting swabbed for DNA? She said, I don't remember that. They said, did you find out what the evidence showed when you met with them? And she said, yeah, okay. They said, were you told that you would be done if you gave them that interview in September, that you would be done with this case, you wouldn't have to deal with it no more and all of that? She said, yes. They said, what was the interview done? She said, in a room. I don't know. They said, did you tell the prosecution things to be done with this case? She said, I thought I would be done with it. They said, didn't you say that you wanted to free yourself in that interview? She said, yes, I wanted to free myself, and tell my truth. They said, this is defense speaking with her. They said, you wanted to free yourself from this case and free yourself from your connections with Tory, right? She said, I wanted nothing to do with this case. Then they bring up Roc Nation. Okay. They said, Megan is with Roc Nation, right? And she said, yeah. They say, do you know Tory's label? She said, no. They said, but you was with Roc Nation by way of working with Megan, right? She said, yeah. They said, did you know about Roc Nation trying to sign Tory and the fact that they fell out? Objection immediately. And that was sustained so that they could not get into that. So we didn't get an answer, but absolutely. Huh? We heard about that.
Hey, a lot of people in the industry heard about that. It was interesting.
Garbage people, man. They deserve these garbage rewards they got.
Hey, AJLD. What up, though? How you feeling? I did say that you wasn't feeling too well. We've been in the sick house. What up?
What up? Better. Much better.
Yeah, that's good. We've come here to
What up, little Jay?
What up? What up?
We're here in the building, mate. Trying to play detective. I don't know if you guys saw that. So looks like Roc Nation was looking to try and sign Tory Lanez because he's kind of like a free agent. And this would have fucked it up because Meg is with Roc Nation.
Again, fucking horrible people. Horrible humans.
Yeah.
This is what the music industry is. It's not even about talent anymore. It's a bunch of weirdos with don't handle their business, just do whatever, reckless.
With all respect to the parties involved, I would never have put this case on live TV, or I would never have made this such a big deal, because at the end of the day, this is all sides, like from my honest opinion, are very like just like untrustworthy. They're very like it's clear there's agendas on everyone's side. She fucked him, he fucked her. They like this is not even a love triangle. This is like a fucking love octagon of just people fucking other people, and like it's very difficult to say like whose opinion is right or wrong. I'm not like sorry, whose statements testimony is valid as opposed to the other one. Because at the end of the day, they're just horrible people.
If the slipper doesn't fit, man, you must have quit, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fucking hell, OJ.
It's to me, it's just like I said, they don't care. Like, because the way life is now, publicity
Bunch of Al
doesn't
Haymans,
matter.
man.
Yeah, if it's negative, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Now, this may be just out of loop, but I can't name one Tory Lanez song. I'm sorry. He's
all of my people were litty again.
yeah, maybe. I mean, but it's like, bro, it's like
one of them.
yeah,
Yo,
but if you
but
think
yeah,
about it, it's not even about the music. Like what they did is they expanded
know.
like love and hip hop, and it's just like their regular world now. Like to them, it's just they're still relevant. There's still somebody talking about them. Watch after this case, he drop an album. I mean, that's literally what it is now.
Well, I mean, he's just dropped one not too long before. I mean, what I will say about Tory Lanez, as annoying as he is, he's very talented. He is. He can spit bars, and he can also he sings. I can't take it. He is talented. I have had a few songs on my playlist of his. None of Meg's.
Yeah, he does have flows. I remember the first time I was introduced to Tory Lanez, he was on
Funk Master Flex.
No, the Nick Cannon show. That's the first time I had ever heard of Tory Lanez.
Find it out.
And yeah, and so later on I started listening to his. He does have musicality, but it's just like this. It's all been overshadowed with this shit right now. It's like, bro, at the end of the day, where we believe it, like you may get off it, but in my heart, you still don't never necessarily know. Did this motherfucker shoot a girl? Like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, I don't see no argument that escalates to a dude having to shoot a female. I just don't. What the like? That's why I'm thinking like low key didn't do that, but it's just like this is just so stupid. It's like,
yeah.
Why do you even have a gun around a bunch of females and you got security? What like? Why does anybody have a gun in that situation? These people aren't in the street. Like you're supposed to be millionaires at a place getting twisted, chilling, having a good time, and you guys are acting like remedial people in the Chicago streets.
That's what sells. That's what sells album. This apparently this notion. I don't know. It's.
AJ, what was you going to say? Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's quite all right. Honestly, at this point, I'm just contemplating how these people are famous because they're horrible people.
Updates is here. Yeah.
Sorry, Jay. Go ahead.
I was just saying the court of public opinion will always judge him now because of this. Because even if he does, get away scot-free or whatever else, I haven't even really been, kept up to date on the case. I mean, I know who Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez are. I mean, but I really don't listen to the music much. I mean, the first time I heard of Tory Lanez, he was featured in a song by by G-Eazy and Chris Brown. And I forget the name, but he actually sang nice in that verse. I liked his voice. I mean, so that's how I kind of figured him out. But I really kept up to date on his music or anything like that. Right. And it's just the case of like he said, she said. Okay, so who's lying and who's telling the truth?
And here's the issue: they're all of their like motives can be called into question because again, they all fucked one another. And I mean that not in the literal sense, like they've all screwed each other over in some way, shape, or form, or they at least have some evident, like what's the word I'm looking for? Like they have history, so it's obvious. Exactly, and like it's very difficult to like. Again, it all depends on honestly, this is a civil case, right?
Criminal.
No,
criminal case. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it depends on honestly, this all depends on what kind of judge you have because some judges are very punctual. Like you have your allocated time to say your testimony, don't go you know what I mean? Like some judges are very punctual about the testimony, the objections, blah blah blah. So I don't know. This is a garbage shoot of a case.
Yeah, they haven't had there hasn't been much deviation. It's just very cut and dry. It's just extremely sloppy. Like I said, it's the execution. I think the judge is like a non-factor because it's just, I mean, at the essence of reasonable doubt, at this, if you're a jury, you don't know who shot who, you don't know what happened. Reasonable doubt is a wrap.
Well, yeah,
Like
but
you have not present any evidence to, like, I don't even know if Tory Lanez, did they even say that he had gun? Like, here's the thing about it: you can't bump into somebody and get gunpowder on you. It's impossible. It doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, you can't.
well, here's something I would also say. It also depends on how likable you are as a human being. A lot of juries are swayed by pathos, by emotion. So it really does depend. Like, now this is not how it should be, but a lot of like from what I've seen past experiences, lawyers will placate a jury's just placate their emotion and go from there. So depending on how they spin the narrative, you could again. There's a lot of factors that have to be taken into account outside of just the testimony.
Yeah. Hang on. Let's get to, let's dismiss this. What the guy's update is. The lawyer. Oh yeah, let me do the super chat. My bad. Shouts out to Modern King Boxing in the building for dropping that $3 on your girl. Thank you very much. MKB in the building. So let's just see what this geezer is saying. Oh, we got Lisa Bells in the building.
Hey.
Hey sis.
Hey guys. Hi, how's everybody doing?
Hey, Lisa.
Yeah, you know, Fridays I come around late, yeah.
Girl.
It's Friday already.
Wait, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
TJIF Friday.
We're just trying to dissect this fucking code. Yeah, it's crazy. The world, this has got, well, the hip hop community definitely in a hissy fit. So I'm trying to see what the update is with this.
Now I'm a little out of the loop on the social aspect. Like, who is like in the court of public appeal? Who is currently like the guilty? I guess. Do you guys know? Are you familiar?
I'm switching to, yeah. Let's ask. I thought it was Kelsey. Now I've gone back to thinking it was Tory. I'm thinking it. Whoever it was, out. All I'm saying, somebody's got to go to jail because you can't. That's out of order. As much as you think your friend's a bitch, a slag, you do not have the right to fucking shoot at anybody. Someone has to go to jail, and Tory Lanez is facing 22 years. I mean, Kelsey's got a degree of immunity.
Who's Kelsey?
Megan Thee Stallion's ex-best friend. Ex-best friend, yeah.
It's a very. I can draw you the octagon if you want to see who slept with who, Jay.
I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying. I haven't kept up to date on it. I mean, Kelsey, was this person involved somehow?
She's the best friend that was having the argument with Meg, and they're supposed to have had the fight, and Tory's supposed to have shot Meg, but Tory also threatened to shoot Kelsey. Kelsey had admitted on the stand, by the way. She's admitted that because the judge she didn't want to answer that question, and the judge was like, she was like, "Oh, do I got to answer that?" And the judge was like,
"You bet your ass you do."
Yes, please. So she was like, "Yeah," but so that's what's made me lean back towards this little fucking midget.
Yosemite Sam.
Who's a midget, sis?
And he like 5'5"?
He's 5'3".
Oh fuck, he's that short?
Do you guys remember the allegations Floyd hit his wife?
Yeah.
So this kind of reminds me of that almost, where it's like, regardless of the outcome of this trial, you have that stigma over you for the rest of your life. So
little man syndrome.
That's anybody, yeah.
Yeah, you have that stigma. So you're kind of like, even if you are found innocent, which, spoiler in my opinion, I feel like you will ultimately, because like now there's doubt. So so depending on how it turns out, but yeah, he's got that stigma for the rest of his life. So
it puts them outside the inner circle, because what happens now, instead of you being able to be, because there's levels of entertainment where you have access, there's commercial where guys are everywhere. He's basically bumped himself out of all that. He can't.
Mhm.
So it's almost like he's made himself a regional artist. And then to that extent, because there's so many, a lot of these artists don't have a lot of longevity, because the record companies aren't really loyal. They just shift them out. It just puts him in a position where, like, this may be, he may still have music and stuff, but overall, like, him ever reaching any level higher, that's all over with. I mean,
Mhm.
because people that, like, they're not going to want to work with him. It's not, and like I said, in the day, there's still a situation. Yeah, you got off or whatever, but what the fuck happened, bro? Like, I know he has some close people or friends that probably, but like, dude, what the fuck happened? Like, I know you got off,
Right.
but what the fuck happened? Did you shoot that girl?
Right.
What happened, bro? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah.
Like,
I,
and then
I,
even how people perceive you. Like I said, you dealing with two girls and you had a gun. I mean, you'd be better off if you had just slapped her or something, if that would happen. I mean, it's stupid.
Pull a
I
Chris
was
Brown,
surprised
man.
he had to add
yeah.
slapped Kelsey as well. By the way, he's
Mhm.
that's there as well. He's assaulted her as well.
I had to go look up, because I I would say after Cardi B or really Nicki Minaj, I kind of like haven't been following, like a lot of the hip hop like I used to before. I had to look her up and I didn't realize how big she was. So one of her channels is like 5 point something million. You know,
Who?
s- s- Meg the Stallion.
Oh,
Like I didn't know that, because this is a pretty high profile case, I would say.
yeah,
So me being out of the loop of things, that's why I had to do a lot of ear hustling last night and just trying to get. And then you sent that your video earlier. You told us to watch, so
yeah. Yeah,
and
just that,
yeah,
actually, yeah.
because I had no clue. Because I was saying to you, sis, I was like, well, why are they making such a big? She ain't no A-lister, and I'm like, she's bigger than I thought she was.
That's Sway. No, sorry for that Sway. Yeah, yeah. Well, she's not an A. Well, is she an A? She is, isn't she?
Well,
What
she
Wow.
popped.
the problem is what constitutes an A-lister nowadays, because these they're not artists anymore. They're like media moguls, so they have all these other avenues where they are existing.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a
Yeah.
lot different than where, like, let's say back in the day, Whitney Houston was an A-list star. She's top level. Whereas,
Yeah.
like, what constitutes being top level? Like, we don't even know what, like, we used to know record sales, all this stuff. We don't even really know. Like, if you think about it,
Yeah.
you know her more for other stuff, going out and doing something out. So I guess it's just their effect overall, because
Yeah,
media is merged into everything. It's everything now. So it's just like, what makes you a A-lister now?
Well, she
I think
popped up at I'm
longevity
sorry.
has to come in there. You have to have been doing it for a long period of time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so
Well,
I don't think she's been around long enough to be in there. Um,
But she's
it,
popped up
Yeah.
in an episode of She-Hulk. Does that count?
oh yeah.
oh
What is
God.
She-Ho?
It's a
What's
Marvel
that?
TV. It's a Marvel web series on Disney Plus.
Female
Oh, okay.
Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, She
Yeah.
Hulk.
See the thing,
It's
and
trash.
no disrespect to the artists today, no disrespect, but I grew up with real artists that played real instruments, and so it's hard for me to. Maybe it's because I've gotten older, and like my King of Kings said, they don't have a lot of record companies now, so it's the A&R is they not developing these artists, so it's
Mhm.
different now. So I got it. I'm getting used to it now.
Yeah, it's the 21st century. Is it 20?
I'm going to be
Yeah,
honest with you. In terms of her status as a social media icon, whatever she is, whatever these groups of people are, you gotta, honestly, I don't even know what. I feel like I feel like none of them have a longevity in terms of like the legacy. Like, for example, when I say this, they all seem like the fad of like currently 2 weeks later, forget about them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That
like a short shelf life.
exactly, very
that's
bad shelf
exactly
life.
what it is.
Very
It's like
short.
it's a fad. It's kind of like mumble rap, like when Migos did that shit, and then everyone else did it, and now no one wants to do it because it's garbage.
Yeah.
Well, Future actually
It
started.
was
the trend.
out before Migos. Yeah, Future.
Sorry,
Lil Wayne
I just know
too
Migos.
was doing it.
No, it's all good.
I just know
Yeah, yeah.
Migos is shitty songs that all sound the exact same in illegible fucking Egyptian.
Oh God.
You'll
You're not
never,
wrong.
you won't talk about when you have a, like, if in 10 years when people start looking back and saying the hit, like, there, if you start trying to find like icons in the music industry at this time, because if you really think about Cardi B was huge for a period of time, maybe she's fizzled out a little bit. It's like they wash people so fast, and then a lot of the music sounds so similar that you don't even, you be like, oh, is that, I thought that was what's his name, and or this dude drops his hit, oh, I thought that was him. You know, I've heard young kids say that, like, oh, I thought that was this guy, because they don't even, it's just like you said, it's like they're like trending, they're like outfits, they're like bell bottoms. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like they're in for a while, then they're out.
Well, also,
But it's,
sorry, go ahead.
but there's always a cookie cutter in the music industry, and I know Chan could tell you this. There's
Can we
always
not
that
dive
proto.
off the music industry too much right now, because we just need to cover this, because I want to play this, to be fair. So I just want to play about what, you know, what's going on here, and then we can deviate, because I feel that we're deviating now. Yeah?
Let's do it.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's rock.
I can't hear it. Play a whole tape of Kelsey's recorded interview with the police. I'm not sure how significant that's going to be. Here are the witnesses who I think will be significant. Now, I expect the prosecution to call the only sort of completely partial outside witness to this incident, and that is the resident of the home near where the gunshots went off. That individual said he heard things. He said he saw the muzzle go off when the woman was near the gun. He said he saw what appeared to be two women fighting. If the prosecution does not call this man as a witness and they leave it to the defense to call him, that tells me a lot, that the prosecution is not putting on the truth. They're just putting on an extremely one-sided version of the story. I expect them to call him. The other witness that's very interesting is the police officer, Detective Stogner, the lead investigator in this case. The prosecution is not calling him to testify because they're saying that he's on administrative leave. The defense is saying, wait a second, he's not on administrative leave. First, you told me he's getting terminated. Now you're telling me he's on administrative leave. The defense is obviously building the case that this was a shoddy investigation, that we need to know about why this guy's not available, not testifying, why he was either fired or on administrative leave. Who is this guy and what did he do in this case? But let me tell you who I think the most important witness is. Oh, no, wait. Why don't you go to my subs where I just did a video, IG subscriptions, telling you exactly who I think the most important witness left is. For the final day of the first week of the Tory Lanez trial, the prosecution is... Here's the thing with Gunner. Look, the internet, you're right about something, but you don't understand it all.
We don't want Gunner.
All right, Friday morning session in the books at the Tory Lanez trial. Prosecutors played the recording from their interview with Kelsey back in September 2022. A lot of the jurors had heard a lot of that stuff before, but now they heard it on audio played on the courtroom speaker. Kelsey told the story. She gave a lot of details. You know, when you do a direct examination, you maybe don't go over all the details. When you sit down with police and they do your initial interview, they go over every single detail, and every single detail is on the recording. We got a lot of gossipy details, including that Odell Beckham Jr. was there at the party that night. Kylie Jenner at the front had up to 6 security guards checking people. A lot more. You can go my IG subscriptions. I give you all the gossip details. Let's get to the key part of the recording, and that's where Kelsey implicates Tory in the shooting and also makes statements about Tory putting out the idea that Kelsey denies taking any money, but she did acknowledge during the recorded testimony that statements were made to her that she could be paid. This was way back in 2020. As to the shooting, Kelsey said what prosecutors told the jury that she had told them before, which is that Tory was the shooter. They both got out of the car. Tory hopped into the front seat. He pulled a gun. He shot Megan. All right, Friday morning session in the books at the Tory Lanez trial. Prosecutors played the recording from the first week of the Tory Lanez trial. It's going to continue tomorrow. I have here with me number one. This is Vince. Vincent, tell them why we call you number one.
Because I'm always at the front of the line in the courtroom. Super early, 7 a.m., I'm there.
Listen, I call him number one because he's the man. Every single morning on the public line, he is standing there at attention like a freaking yoga statue, completely at peace. He doesn't move. He holds his line. He goes. He watches the whole proceeding. When he comes out at lunch, he He doesn't go to lunch. He just goes right back to the front of the line, takes his place at number one. And he's been doing that all week. You're the man. Tell me, what was your big takeaway of today?
Hold on.
No, he's going to take out his notes. Number one is taking out his notes. He's going to flip through it. He's going to tell you his highlight. That's one of Tory's lawyers walking away right there. That guy's way too big to be a lawyer. I don't. He should be like a professional football player, like an offensive lineman. Oh, we're gonna get run over by this car. Let me come closer to my car right here. All right, number one. What was the highlight of? No, not this week. Well, just today. You were just there. Why you gotta check all your notes?
You're right.
This is going off the walls. All right, 15 seconds. Give me your highlight of today and highlight of the week.
Highlighted today, definitely juror number 3 who was coughing the whole time, to the point where we couldn't hear some of the testimony and other important things I was trying to write down, including witness names.
All right, highlight of the week. What's the highlight of the week?
When the prosecution asked Kelsey about, actually the defense asked Kelsey, did the harassment you were receiving come from my team? No. She said, they said, did the harassment come from the prosecution? She said, yes.
That's the number one thing. The highlight of my day today, they established that there's no DNA tying Tory to the gun. They asked the expert, hey, if somebody shoots a gun 5 times, would you expect to find that person's DNA? The expert said, yeah, not found here. The highlight of my week, easily, Kelsey taking the 5th and then testifying that I can't testify truthfully because I don't want to incriminate myself. Yikes. The first week of the Tory Lanez trial is going to continue tomorrow. I have here with me number one.
I don't understand. Number one went playing the Buddhism with his notepad in the Buddhism. Mate. So do you see people's comments? They're like, well, Kelsey shot her in the end. Oh, mate. So she did her statement. We have to wait because usually when I watch the catch-ups, I do watch his one, but I do watch Academics and he comes on a little later because you have to remember we are 5 hours ahead from Eastern and they're in LA where AJ is. So they're 8 hours behind us. So 1, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. It's 5 p.m. It's 5 p.m. there. So you got to wait till everybody gets home, or do you understand? It's always late. And that's why I'm up late for the last couple of days trying to keep tabs on this. But yeah, Kelsey has recanted. She said basically everything that she said to the police officers was a lie. She felt pressured. They said, who did you feel pressured by? Did you feel pressured by the defense? She said, no. They said, did you feel pressured by Tory Lanez? She said, no. They said, did you feel pressured by the prosecution? And she said, yes, I felt pressured by the prosecution. Their whole case is washed. They didn't do their due diligence. They didn't bother. Look, they've only literally started to try and get a case together in the last week.
Well, that's a good sign.
Our witness was just going to come in. We don't need to really get anything done because we've got Kelsey of what Kelsey said, you know, back in 2 years ago, and we're rolling with that. The case, we beat the case now. You know, Tory Lanez, pack him up, 22 years, deport him back to fucking Canada and make him do his 22 years there, or maybe they make him do it. I don't know. But the case is flopped, guys. She can be perjured, and that's it. So they've got Corey Gamble to come stand on the stand. They've got potentially Kylie Jenner. But they don't really need these people. They've got the witness.
They don't really know what happened.
Huh?
They don't really know what happened, do they?
No, they just know that. They just know that she was chucked out. So Meg was chucked out of their house for being belligerent. So when they came back, when Meg was like, I've left my fucking golden Versace slipper there or something, we have to go back. Bro, like, unless it was your credit card, debit card, fucking Birkin bag or something. at the end of the day, you ain't left your shit in no poor person's house, have you? So your little slipper, that was a lie. But you know, your little slipper, the security guard should have never turned around. But anyway, so so they turned round. She went in the house. Kelsey was in the car, and Kelsey said Meg came out first, and like Tori was behind her, and they was bickering or whatever. And Meg came up to the car and said, "Yeah, that bitch told us we gotta leave." Like, so she got thrown out, and they was so. What I'm trying to say is, how did it get from Tori? Because Meg said that she went to the front of the car. So when there was an argument popping off, when they realized, oh, everybody's been sleeping with each other, Meg was, hang on, let me think. Tori was in the front passenger. No, my bad. Tori was in the back passenger with Kelsey. Meg was in the front passenger, obviously with the driver. Meg gets out, and I have to think because you guys are on the left. So Meg gets out on the right-hand side. She says she goes to the front of the car. Tori, which I know he's at the passenger back left, right? He is supposedly shot her from that angle. How?
Again, the beauty is that they've made the star test like witness like completely discredited. So yeah, I don't even know, man.
But it's even worse than that, because that last part he was saying where they say the police officer's on administrative leave as if that's something that made him unavailable. If anything, that means he's more available. It means he's at the house on because administrative leave down here is paid vacation. Whenever they say a cop's like that, he's at the house getting paid while this woe's over. So it's like, and then they say there's actually one substantial witness that may have seen enough of it, and they're not even going to call him. It's a shit show. It's just like prosecution does. And you think that, and these people are public officials that get paid, and it's like, how, like, you don't even represent yourself in a quality manner. It's like, it's one thing when we see like you said that the Johnny Depp case, and you got two private lawyers. This is the state prosecutor. How are you that so unprepared that you just it's this breeze of arrogance, incompetence?
Yeah, because they thought we've got the star witness. That's it. We're good to go. It's Kelsey. We've got to think why Kelsey has recanted.
Because I do believe she was pressured in it. I'm sorry. We all well, I mean, I know I watched those police interrogations. I'm sorry. It's not like I said, if it takes you hours for somebody to tell you what happened and they didn't do anything, that means you were getting them to tell you what you wanted to hear, which is completely different than me just splitting out the facts, where it's like, oh, we went over it over and over again. Why would you have to keep going over it? Like,
yeah, exactly. They want the answer to change. And this is what the girl was saying, the girl that we were just watching. There's no point of them playing, which they spent 80 minutes. And I heard even the judge is so frustrated with Kelsey as well. That's why he allowed them to play her 80-minute interrogation where she admitted. But listen, when you've recanted something, she's already said, look, I lied there. Whether she's lying now or she was lying there, the case is out the window. It doesn't matter if you play that 80 minutes, 800 minutes, 8 days. She said, I lied there. This is what I'm saying now. Pled the fifth, got immunity, over there I lied. So you can play that all day, every day, and twice on a Sunday. I lied.
Do you guys know what this case is being like done, like settled or debated? Is it Cali? Where is it at, if you don't mind me asking? Do you know?
Yeah, it's in LA.
LA. Okay, well, fine. Then a perjury case, I believe, is like $10K here and like 10,000. Like that's like the maximum fine. So, dude, you perjure $10,000 and you fuck up an entire trial.
Hey, Chan.
Yeah.
I like how you said LA. Can you say that again?
LA.
That's nice. I like that.
How many times do they have to meet?
Sorry.
Yeah, play it. Activate creep mode.
Creep mode activated in 5,
LA.
4, 3. LA.
You know what's funny? It's so hard to prove perjury, yet the dumbass admitted it.
No, it's one of my favorite lines. I mean, I watched a lot of that show, Law and Order, when McCoy would be like, "Are
Nothing's
you
like
lying
that.
now?"
It's not like that. The court's not
No,
like
I'm just
that.
saying. But when he would say, "Were you lying then? Or are you lying now?" And that's literally this question you have to ask her, because now it's like they put her in such a position. If this is your star witness, is supposed to drop the hammer on Tory, it's a wrap. That's why they're not even wondering if we need to call. Do we even need to call any of these other witnesses? Like, we could just pretty much pack it up.
King, I just find it funny because they have to prove so here's the thing: when you do perjury, you have to prove the material misstatement, okay, of the fact, and then you have to also make sure you have to prove that it was done willingly. And yet this dumbass admitted to both parts on her own. And
But she's not. But here's the thing about it, she's not under oath in a police interrogation. She's not under oath yet.
Police interrogation on the stand.
Yeah, so they have to prove that she's lying now.
See,
yeah, so she could have lied to the cops, and that's not perjury. So they got to prove what she said first was right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
wow.
Look at us. We're trying to be. I'm trying to be like learn quickly U.S. law, and it's not even U.S. law because you guys have got different states, and every state has got a different fucking law. Wild. So we're trying to lock in on what the laws are of Los Angeles for perjury. Can you Edward, can you pull it up, please?
Yeah,
what the ramifications are for perjuring yourself on the stand in the state of California?
I believe it's
LA.
Up to 4 years, and then I believe $10,000 fine.
4 years in a perjury.
You would have to verify, I believe.
Yeah. LA.
I'm looking now. I'll have it for you on a second.
Yeah, so this is all we're trying to go for.
Colonel Jessup, did you order the code red?
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
We're trying to fucking find it. Throw these lot all in the trash.
When are they?
Look, don't hate too harshly on Cricket Mobile, okay? It's cheap, affordable, and...
Go ahead, sis.
When is the next court hearing?
It's daily, so they've wrapped for the weekend and they'll be back on Monday. I think that this case should be wrapped up by I want to say next week Wednesday. I don't see it having. It may go to next week Friday, but other than that, it doesn't have to go any further than that.
No.
Unless they're going to have a barrage of witnesses, which it's not really necessary to prove that there's doubt. They can't prove beyond reasonable doubt. That's just what they can't do it. They can't do it. They haven't done it, and they're not going to be able to do it. Kelsey, we're going to have to see Kelsey going for. I need to really update and see what Kelsey has said today. I did see glimpses in bits, but in totality, I'm not really sure what Kelsey said today.
I know you don't smoke weed. I know this. But I'm going to get you high today. Because it's Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
Yeah, so it's it can carry a felony charge of between 2, 3, or 4 years. But here's the thing about it is the elements to prove it is just like very difficult. You have to intend, like, first of all, it only comes when she's under oath, so that's when she was on the stand, so that police shit is irrelevant. And then you have to say that she had the intent to make a false statement. If she was trying to clear up the record on the stand after the situation occurred, she actually is really trying to correct a false statement. So yeah, man, that's you. Like I said, it doesn't matter. She could lie you could lie all that you want to the police. There's no, that's not perjury. So even if she's on the stand correcting it and her intent was to correct a false statement, then it's no perjury. It's just her correcting a statement that she made falsely to the police.
Shit.
I remember like in the Johnny Depp case, like statements, like observations would change fucking daily. So
This is coming across a bit Amber Heardish.
no, it's coming
You've
across.
got the Stallion just saying, you know, he did it, but you don't really know who did it because you only saw. You said you saw. One sec. You said you saw. You said you saw him with the gun. So, I don't know. I don't know. It's a who shot ya for real. She don't.
No,
even
but
know.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did she say that statement? She saw him with the gun. Did she say that when she was on the stand?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But then the problem is, then, like I said, she follows by, like, because literally, then when they asked her the following question, yeah, you're right, she did, because then the following question, she pled the fifth. Like, literally, if you want to infer and you wanted to think of some kind of wild situation, yeah, I saw him with a gun, and the next answer is, yeah, I grabbed it and I shot her. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's so many ways that plays out. So even if you're admitting that you, like, we all know there's a gun there because Megan got shot, but we don't know who shot her with the gun. So even if he started with it, or even if, you know, you don't necessarily know who actually used it.
You have to prove that she's intending, like her intent to lie. She could easily make the claim that it's just like, oh well, I remembered, like I like the facts got skewed over the days, you know. And at that point, it just calls into question her character.
Yeah.
So any way you look at it, this Sam little dude, either way you look at it, he, like, there's no way for a shadow of a doubt that he did it. So, like you said, if this trial goes on for another week, it's going on too long.
Yeah, another thing what's funny is one of the defenses to that is if they voluntarily recant their statement, which is basically what she did. So that's the funny part. It's like you can correct it at any time. So the problem, like you said, that she doesn't become credible and they don't listen to her, which at the end of the day is, if that's the purpose of the defense, and so be it. That's their main purpose, is to make the witness be uncredible. So end the story. And then so the prosecutor's not going to, like I said, they come up with some kind of immunity like they were talking about. They're not going to go out there. You know how much money it costs to go after people for something like that? At that point in time, they're just going to probably let it go.
Yeah, the state did a horrible fucking job. If they were the prosecution, they did a horrible job recanting their information.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Like I said, it's just a slot. It's funny because we hold these institutions in such high regard, and then when you just see like them making basic mistakes, and it's just like, what? Like, first of all, if I'm gonna have somebody vouch, if I go to somewhere, I need somebody to vouch for me, I'm gonna have to talk to them first. Hey, so what you about to say? What was on your mind? Explain to me what you about to say.
Typically, like before any of this happens, you have the you have like that, not pre-trial, but like that well, you basically
Witness
interview.
prep.
Yeah, exactly. You prep the witness. It's like, what the fuck did y'all do during the witness prep? Like, seriously, what did you do that she's contradicting herself? She's making herself look like an ass. She now perjured herself. So it's like, bro, she pleaded the fifth. Like, what the hell kind of witness? Like, what did you guys prepare her for?
I don't know.
Horrible fucking like bro. And this is the DA. This is the DA office, right?
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, half of these motherfuckers go to Harvard. So tell me, what did they teach y'all in Harvard?
Because you know as well as I do, going to these higher institutions isn't like they're recruiting the brightest minds. They're recruiting the money.
Hey, I get that, but like after like years of being fucking repetition, you should at least know to like prep your jury. I mean, not prep your jury, prep your fucking witness.
And they're actually somebody above them. They have a boss, like, because the DA is not elected. Whoever that person is that actually elected into that office, it's like, if you don't get rid of them, like, how is this person even available? But that's what I'm saying. It's like, just, I don't know. What's the purpose? Like, are you really trying to convict this guy? Because, like I said, if you were trying to do that, you showed a very bad showing of that. The whole situation is just trash. And I'm a layman. I'm a regular dude. I'm not no high priced DA from California that's had 10 years of experience. Like, it's just common sense. Like, bro, like, what the hell are y'all doing? Like, what are you trying to accomplish here?
And they're gonna probably blame it on the pandemic. Watch. And they had more than enough ample time to process all of this and get everything together. I know things are backdated due to the pandemic, but there's still no excuse. It's not a good look at all.
Exactly. It makes them horrible. Horrible
But
performance.
yeah, I don't even necessarily see where they go from there. Like I said, it should wrap up pretty fast. I think there was probably going to be a more extended defense until they just seen the ineptness of this prosecution. They're just probably like,
That's the word I was looking for. King
yeah,
of
we're
King.
not calling nobody. What you say?
King of King. I just remember the word deposition. What the fuck happened in the depositions?
Exactly.
Seriously, what happened in the depositions? Because like typically in the deposition, you prepare the witness for questions that are going to be asked in court, or at least you give them ample time to like, you know, prep them, respond, like how are you going to do? Basically, it's a mock run. What happened in that deposition? That's the question at hand. Sorry for cutting you off. It was just like the word finally hit me. It was deposition. Sorry.
Let me ask you something. The young lady, what's her name again? Not Meg, the other one.
Kesley?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kelsey Harris.
Kelsey.
Yeah.
Did she have a decent lawyer, or was it a public defender?
I gotta say she had a regular lawyer. I'm not sure.
Regular lawyer, no public defenders.
Yeah, these people are high profile.
Sorry,
The
my
public
bad.
defender, they're not gonna have one of them.
One sec. Sorry. Go ahead, guys. Sorry. Go ahead. I am jumping back in. I will be back in. Sorry, my bad.
You know, God bless, man. You and these lawyers, man, they charge for everything. And if that's how you prep me for a fucking case, bro, I want my money back.
Yeah, that's just they dropped the ball on that one.
Well,
Unless that's what they were trying to do.
Well,
Like,
clearly
just
they
think
were
about it.
trying.
Maybe they
Well,
were
clearly they were
intentionally
trying to look
cause
like
confusion.
clowns. They were trying to look like clowns. Clearly.
Well, like I said, not necessarily the prosecution, but like I said, Kelsey Harris, her thing is okay. She's not being charged with anything. Maybe, like I said, we can maybe. I don't think it's the noble setting of her realizing that Tory hasn't actually done this and she's trying to get him off. I don't know, but the problem is, so at the end of the day, she has nothing to lose. Like you said, she can go up here and she could just say that I felt pressure. And I didn't say well, right. Like, so even if they use her wording on the stand, they still have no evidence one way or another. It ain't like now they're like, oh, Kelsey gave herself up. No, people want to get into the fifth. Oh, he took the fifth. There's a reason why people take the fifth, because they're not saying anything. Now you can imply because they're not saying anything that they did something, but at the end of the day, it puts them in a position where they're not vulnerable.
Well, I mean, a lot of like from what I've been seeing in this case, a lot of it really is hearsay. It's she said, she said. I mean, sorry, he said, she said. So, honestly, how did they get the original conviction for the rapper? Oh, whatever he is, whatever genre of music he does. Yeah, rapper. My bad. Then how did they get the original conviction? So did they just use her testimony for the original conviction? Because if they did, then they fucked up in the original court case. Because there's no way in hell one person's testimony makes or breaks something.
Yeah, where's the video, man?
Exactly.
I'm sorry. This is a expensive area. Like there ain't no video. Like we ain't got no video.
No audio recording. No nothing. You would think if someone was going like Yosemite Sam shooting, saying "fuck you, bitch" or whatever the hell he said, you would think someone would have like in this age of social media, someone would have an audio recording.
Yeah, phone, something. I don't know. It's all bad. I believe in the system. Whatever you have to prove that, well, innocent until proven guilty, whatever, or guilty until proven innocent, however you want to look at it. You have to prove the dude did it, and there's no way you can. Especially when the whole proof is based on one witness saying that this is what happened. It's a wrap.
Exactly.
I mean,
and here's the issue. Like again, like here's what my mind's going to from like the first case. If it was this evident that you could get her, you could catch her on a lie, then did the original like fucking like prosecutor just have a horrible like cross-examination? Like how do you Like, you know what I'm trying to get us? Like, if like the entirety of this case was defined on the premise that she saw who did it, but you can cross-examine her and find like nuances and counterpoints in there. So it's.
But it's their witness. That's the problem.
I'm sorry. Then let me rephrase it. Then the defense had a horrible cross-examination.
No, the defense didn't have to do it. They did it spot on perfect.
Yeah, because she's fucked up the prosecution's whole case. This helps the defense, so she
No.
can't.
I'm not talking about this case. I'm talking about the original case because he was in prison, correct? This
No.
Tory. Oh
no, this is the original case.
This is the original case.
Oh God, then I'm a little backwards. I apologize.
No worries.
Ivo's a runner. He's a track star.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm also very fat, so I'm unable to run.
Damn.
Could the judge just be like to this Kelsey chick, like, if you don't tell the truth, could he just, threaten jail time just to get the truth out of her, or no?
Because he can't prove that she's lying. That's the problem.
Judge
She hasn't
mediates.
lied. She just said that everything she basically, what's funny is she told the truth in saying that I lied before, and then she's justifying it. So she right now, all the judge can go by is, okay, she's not lying now. He can't go, oh, well, she was lying then. She's just a liar and she needs to tell the truth. No, it doesn't work that way. All he can do is arbitrarily let her hang herself or let her.
Well, if that's the case, she's not credible.
Yeah,
she's not, because if she's changing the story, like what's going on? You know what I mean? So
you could make a case that she had temporary insanity from hysteria or some bullshit like that. But either way, it makes her an uncredible source. You could like theoretically, like the defense has to do minimal work to portray her as just like a spontaneous person, and boom, trial out the window.
Was she even there? Was she actually there when this whole thing happened?
Allegedly, she saw what happened.
Huh. I'm just getting a suspicion here. I don't know if it's valid, but I'm just, I got a theory.
What you got?
Well, I could be wrong, of course, but sounds to me Megan Thee Stallion might have just put her up to this. I could be wrong. I mean,
you think so?
It's possible.
Well, the thing from the gate, Meg was very vague. She seemed like she wanted to not. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, maybe I don't know the mind of people and when they go through stuff, but I'm sorry. Somebody shot me. He shot me. You're gonna keep saying it, but it's like, or maybe somebody told you be quiet. But even then, like, we know how it is. People get plastered in the media before they ever go to court. So she came up at her testimony is straight up like he shot me and all this other stuff, but she doesn't sound credible. The whole story sounds like a bunch of cartoony shit that never happened. Like Ivo said, like, what? Like who talks like that? Like it doesn't sound believable. Like it just doesn't. So even though she's blatantly pointing a finger at him, they bring up somebody because really you negate her with him. He comes on the stand and says he doesn't do it. So we got to wash. So we need one person to tip the scale, and that person they had to tip the scale blew the damn scale up.
But here's the issue. Even if that one, again, so like this is why, like from the beginning, this case was kind of weird because like the state, like the quote unquote source. I mean, not source, but person who was observing the situation unfold had clear bias. Again, there was a fucking love octagon going on. She can't be a credible source if she was, in the middle of the fucking relationship.
Was there like a love triangle going on here?
Well, at this point, it's an octagon, dude. Like Megan Thee Stallion apparently slept like it's fucking weird, dude. She slept with him while he was sleeping with her, and like the fucking Illuminati did this at that time. Like it's all over the place, man.
Then police work is tough. That's why I'm glad I was never a cop.
No, literally what I think happened in this situation is like some little young, like what somebody kept saying, oh, I was too grown for this. Yeah, no, she's out there acting like a little kid, got drunk, got threw out the party. She's like I said, people don't understand these people are famous, but they're just like any other ratchet ass people doing stupid stuff. One person gets drunk, you get kicked out, they get an attitude. She tried to find some reason to come back. It's just like, damn. Then come to find out, oh, this is his girl, but then she smashed him from behind, but she's mad that you're still smashing him, even though you're the one that started behind the smash. It's just stupid. It's just like, damn. Like, you all really got nothing else to do. It's like, get an activity or something, because it's just pathetic. And this is their life. This is their everyday life. And then, oh, okay, then we're gonna go to the studio on Tuesday, or we're gonna go for a guest appearance on the carpet on Wednesday. In the meantime,
Well, in the past, now I'm not saying I'm not trying to sound like that old dude on the fucking porch that's saying you kids, but in the past, musicians would, make music to be relevant, not fucking court cases.
Yeah.
They always had court cases, musicians. That's nothing new.
Fair enough, I guess. It's again,
Look
this
it up.
social
Be
media makes
surprised.
it like, for be honest right now, just think, the headlines are kind of dry, things. So this is becoming to the forefront. Like, even think about the Johnny Depp, like there was nothing really going on. I mean, we all know there's bigger events going on. There's a war in Ukraine, but you know how the news cycle is. Oh, that's 3 months old now. We ain't gonna move on to the next random ass topic that we can try to get views and attention on.
Well, if I remember correctly, the Johnny Depp case happened during the time where they pulled out from the Middle East. So,
yeah.
Guys, let me just say this. We are going to move over to members only. Those that are not members, you will not see us on the live. If you want to join the membership, hit the link. Go on the front of my channel and it says join. And you can join like that because we're moving over. We're going to speak about music, hip-hop over there and some other topics. So it's a topic that we've been meaning to do for a minute now. But this bleeds into that. So just letting everybody know, join the membership, but we are going to be in membership in like 3 minutes. Okay? So guys, chop it up. Give me 3 minutes and I'm going to change everything over.
Yeah, go ahead and pull your screen up. Look on there. Join the membership. It's extremely cheap, y'all. You'll enjoy it. I mean, it's worth it. I mean, this was like $2.99, I think, for the base model. So go ahead and get on there, man. Come check us out, man. We're gonna keep this chopping on. We about to let some people burn about this music topic. Like I said, bleeding into the music topic.
Yeah.
I think somebody wrote in the thing. Do you think this hurts Tory or Megan's music careers?
Yes, it does indeed. Yeah. If he goes away for 22 years, he won't have no career. And she's just going to be deemed as a pathetic liar if he busses the case. Because, I mean, she's a bit wishy-washy. She doesn't know who shot her. She said, what she's saying just makes no sense. The angles, it would have been a headshot. If he stood on the rim of shooting out from the inside of the car, how did he get from the back to the front real quick like that? How did he get from being in the back left to the front passenger side inside?
There used to be a
all over people then. I don't know how that happened. And Megan was out the car in front of the hood, so that would have been a headshot, not a foot shot.
Well, there's only one answer to this, I'm afraid. So if you ever watch the movie Jumper, this man is clearly a jumper.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
He can clearly teleport.
Pew. No, he's like Scorpion on Mortal Kombat.
Exactly. He just said, "Get over here!
Get over here!"
Honestly, the way she made it out to be unironically, like ironically enough, this sounds like a Looney Tunes skit. Like, tell me it doesn't sound like the dude's like it's Stallion season. No, it's what's the fuck his name again? It's Tory season. No, it's Stallion season. No, it's Tory season.
It's not them season.
Well, like, I mean, I'm sorry if you guys already covered this, but like, okay, so let's just say she was shot, by whether Tory did it or somebody else. Where's the bullets? Where's the shell casings? Was that evidence collected?
We haven't found anything.
That's the issue that they're saying that the evidence was improperly collected.
Oh, there's 5 bullets. They said.
Oh,
so God. That's why they wanted when they're reluctant to bring the cop on because they feel like he gathered that stuff poorly because the shell casings, like you said, their drop location is going to tell you where the gun was shot at. Well,
but the team, when they find the shell casings and blood, like the evidence team, they didn't tag things properly. They didn't put flags. near where things are proper. So they've got no kind of trail of events. Everything's fucked up from there as well. They fumbled that as well. The kind of like the forensics team.
So what if this is thrown out of court? Is that a possibility?
I think it should have been thrown out before it even got in. But
this sounds messy.
The reason why it wasn't thrown out, sis, is because they thought they had Tory, because they had the star witness, who is Kelsey, saying he shot her. So that backs up what Meg, but she's come in, and what she's did is basically taken immunity, pled the fifth, and recanted everything. She's fucked up the whole thing. So basically, it looks like she's either the shooter or in cahoots with Tory and doesn't want Tory to be in trouble, and they just don't like Meg, so they're just gonna.
Yeah, she's a compromised witness.
Yeah, it's a compromised witness. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Man, I wish you had a Three Stooges drop, because that's what this sounds like.
It does, sis, isn't it?
So can you imagine LadyChann going to 4 years to a university for a fucking science degree, another 4 years to be a criminalist, and you can't even fucking do your job?
Incredible. I know this lad knew there, mate. I was well in it.
Incredible.
Isn't it? Fucking losers.
Fucking wankers. Or
they sound like they was drunk like them at the club.
Exactly.
They must have been. I don't know. Yeah, it's quite embarrassing, to be fair.
In the immortal words of Tyson Fury, fucking tossers.
Tossers, shit houses. This is what it is.
Or unless somebody's on the payroll.
Well, maybe they're trying to say it's Tory's paid off. Now they're trying to insinuate that Tory has paid off Kelsey to lie.
Man, y'all think Tory has that much quote? Do you think he has that much credit? Such like, fuck, I don't know, man. Maybe I am just out of the loop. Like I didn't know who he was until this case was brought up. With all respect to him, I didn't even know he was.
Isn't he dating Is he dating the Kardashians? I mean,
not to my knowledge.
No. Wasn't she dating Tyga? Oh wait, I'm.
Yeah, she was Kylie dated Tyga. Yeah, So.
Okay, because her name came up in this.
I believe it
I
was.
mean, how much money do you have to pay
was...
somebody to take a chance of going to prison for 3 or 4
I'd
years?
prefer millions of dollars instead of thousands. So
and that's what I'm saying. But even then, and what is that like? You eliminating a world? I mean, it just like you said that's just people like say over-grandizing. So like when we talk about boxing, oh, you got this and that, and they got the pay. Like that shit don't happen for real.
Well, I will say.
Like we're talking about levels above the money. We're talking about back then where you signed somebody 20,000 to lie on the stand, and I mean, it like, come on, man. That's how much money will you really give her?
To play devil's advocate, just for the sake of playing devil's advocate, you could make a case that lying on stand really doesn't have that many repercussions because it's really difficult to prove. Because we kind of admitted like it's difficult to prove perjury, but I don't know.
But who knows? Didn't Megan Thee Stallion like stop financially supporting her?
Yes, she has.
So who knows? Yeah.
Money Chelsea's not poor. She comes from a good family that have got money as well. She ain't poor.
Okay.
She's doing it for Megan. So
you know, LadyChann, you say they're not poor, but they sure as shit act like hood rats.
Is that? Say it again. In the Uzdanya.
Fucking bunch of gopniks, man. That's what they act like.
You can take the rat out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the rat.
Exactly.
Yeah, because basically what Meg made, we are members only now. What Meg made Kelsey do was sell up all the stuff in her house and said, you don't need all of that now because we're just going to have this Airbnb and we're just going to flex down here. And obviously you're my assistant, so you don't need any of that. So she sold up all her stuff, and that's when they got the Airbnb in LA. And then she hooked her up with Tory. Then she got COVID, went home. She had to go back to Texas. I don't know where she went because she sold up all her bits, maybe to her mum's house or something. And then Meg slides off with Tory, and they start having a sexual relationship. Meg is down and dirty. She's down and dirty, mate.
As you say in Britain, I guess she's a fucking slag.
Yeah, she's fucking slag, mate. She's slag. No, yeah, well, that's what you know. Well, you know, she's not really. She's been linked up to so many dudes, man. And now she's saying, you know, now she's got a boyfriend, Pardison. He was a songwriter, I think, with Drake on Drake stuff. He's a songwriter. Pardy. He had a hit song. I forget what it was. He's a tall dude for once. He's 6'6". And
Damn, she traded up.
but
That's
yeah,
right. Once you go tall, you don't go back.
yes,
Short ass
yes.
nigga.
He's literally twice the size of her ex. It's impressive. That's a good markup.
Yeah. So but they was in the news that one time she was in the toilet and he was kicking down the toilet to try and get to her. So it seems a bit tumultuous over there. And that was on the live and that went viral. I don't know why she's just dumb. But she said in court, this was the only time that they said she showed any kind of real emotion, was that she said he's embarrassed of her, of her behavior, with all this.
I don't blame the man.
He didn't attend court. He hasn't been at court at all. I don't know if that's a prosecution's thing to do because they want her to look broken and solo. So if she comes in there with her man, it looks like, it takes away from the vulnerable lady, So I don't know what tactic they're playing, but I don't know. Maybe he's broken up with her. Would you break up with her if that was your girl? If that was
I would have, honest to God, I would have never dated her in the first place.
Yeah,
No, because you know what happens.
I don't really take to her.
Go ahead. Round of a fucking applause.
I don't really take to her anyway. I don't really find anything appealing about her. No offense.
She's very attractive.
She is somewhat, but she's not really my type, I'd say.
Yeah, not your vibe.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Lisa. What we'll do is we will keep close eye on this case. So, I'll do pop-up lives about this anyway, and we'll do updates and chime in. But now I'm going to take it. You can take the floor, Lise, for a minute. And
okay.
Music. And we can
Yay!
touch on West Coast, down south. And that's it. Yeah.
Oh, it's hip-hop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can talk about, we want to do hip-hop. But, I mean, if you want to talk about music in general, but you have to remember there's like 3 generations on this panel. So we're gonna have to cross all board. That's why I thought hip hop to start with, because we can all go back to that and stuff and see everybody prefers. So kick it off, Lisa. Talk to me, sis. Talk to us. Who's your favorites? What did you prefer? Because I'm just going to tell you just real quick. I grew up in New York, so I was East Coast all day. I grew up on Staten Island, 1 street away from Park Hill. I was on
Park Hill, yeah.
Park Hill. I was on Dick's Place. So shouts out to Dick's Place, Staten Island. So I was woo all the way. So I've always been East Coast. West Coast did infiltrate. But that's and now I like all different hip hop. But go ahead, Lise, you talk to us and tell us your bits.
Yeah, well, hey everybody. I was there, like, from kind of like the birth of it. There was a when it came out, like with the Rapper's Delight, the first like actual song that was put out, I had all of those 12 inches and all of that. I used to, buy all of that stuff. I was very, very young. And but there is a pre-story to that. Like, they talked about it being from the South Bronx. They talked about the Soundview projects and all of that. But there's an actual debate right now going on about it. And so, New York hip hop, came out of the Bronx or whatever, and the origins of it. So I was introduced to so many different artists, like Funky 4+1, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, that era sequence. Angie B was in the group. They made a song called Funk You Right On Up. There's so many different people. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He was I can't think of his name. Puffy used to work for them on Jive record label. I can't think of his name right now. The Treacherous Three, Curtis Blow and all of them. So Wild Style was kind of like the first hip hop movie. And then but I really didn't get into Wild Style. It wasn't until Beat Street and all of that. So all those different things. So my love for hip hop definitely came from New York. Just the love of hip hop, the boom bap. I learned that hip hop has they said 5 different elements. I believe MCing is one, tagging is another, what do you call it? Breakdancing. Can somebody else help me out with graffiti? Did I say that? Tagging? And then because hip hop is a culture, I believe the dress,
The outfit,
how people the outfit. So like I learned a lot of that. Like I learned a lot about hip hop through basically KRS-One. So we had the 80s and all of that came through. So a lot of people like that was popular, like the Boogie Down Productions when they had came out, they was real huge. And you had Public Enemy kind of came out. Rakim Allah was considered like the god, like he was a 5 center. The way he spit bars and just like he was just incredible. Now this is before like Wu and all of them, like you know what I'm saying? Like you had so many different great artists in the 80s. You had EPM3, EPMD or whatever, yeah. So me coming from, like I said, I was from Jersey, but in that era, Queen Latifah came around in like the 80s too. You had Queen Latifah when she got with Moni Love, that was the first like kind of like British female artist I ever heard spitting. Moni in the Middle. And I loved her to death. I used to have her tape. Remember when we used to buy our tapes or whatever? And so like because she had that that whole what do you call that movement with the Jungle Brothers, De La Soul and all that. They had like a movement. I'm trying to think right now. Because they was wearing the medallions, the black medallions with the red, green, black, and red or whatever. So you had that era, X-Clan and all that. So we want to come into the 90s. I'm doing this just off the top of my head. And there's some people I haven't mentioned. You got the Treacherous Three. They were all part of that movement or whatever. Then you got the 90s. That's when it started like changing, for me, like the ascension of NWA. Woo! But I can't forget about down south hip hop either. Because my first kind of like introduction to down south, I would have to say was Luke, the 2 Live Crew. So when they came out, like they was doing some wild, nasty shit. And I wasn't used to that. And I was like, damn, these dudes is wild. But like 2 Live Crew, like we knew a lot of them because of the videos and stuff. So like with the videos and we had Video Music Box and because at one point MTV wasn't playing some of those videos. It wasn't until hip hop had to really evolve and grow, and then it started, it had become regional and everything, and different states, like hip hop started really growing. But for me, my introduction to a lot of hip hop artists from different regions was like Source magazine. So I used to read Source magazine, and you know, the five mics or whatever. And in order for you to get a five mic, that means you had a classic on your hands. And it was hard to get that five mic. So you had you know, hip hop had you know, we had people like the Ghetto Boys, what's his name? Bushwick Bill, Willie D, and Scarface. So they were like real G's, you know, like we really respected them or whatever, you know, because back in those days, like um New York was very New York was funny. They didn't just play you on a radio like that. You had to be from New York or like Jersey area for them to really play you. And I got to give a shout out to like my Jersey, you know, people like Queen Latifah, Redman, and all of them. And I found out Redman wasn't even really from Jersey, but you know, he repped Jersey. You know, we had Lakim Shabazz, people like that. So you know, we put our, you know, what's my girl name? Shit. Yeah, but that was later. But anyway, you know, so let me go on. Anybody could chime in when they get ready. Um, just
We just letting you free flow. We letting you free flow. You
yeah,
feel like
basically I was introduced to like the Bay Area. You had like what's his name that made Blowjob Betty?
Blowjob
What's
who?
the Blowjob Betty? What's the dude's name? He
Too
used to
short.
talk about it. Yeah, yeah, thanks. Too Short. Like my dude Too Short. You had my other dude that enunciate words real nice. E40, you know, man, I love E40, man. Like, Too Short and all of them. He was talking a lot of stuff, but Too Short is a legend in the game, you know. And he put it down for so many years in that Bay Area. You had Mr. Fabo. That was another thing. Magazines, like I said, there was a magazine called Ozone Magazine that I used to read. So it was like, thank God for those magazines because they introduced me to so many people. Because, like I said, at times, if it wasn't for the music videos and the magazines, I wouldn't have been I wouldn't have been privy to some of these other artists. And then you had the you know, you had Chi-Town like Crucial Conflict or whatever. You know, people like that. You know, you had Common and my dude spit real fast, Twister. You know, so these guys was just like, yeah, LL Cool J and all. How could I forget about him? How could I forget about him? That's my childhood. Him, especially Run DMC. It's just so many different people that contributed to hip hop back then. You know, it's just so many people. I can't even begin to just whew. It's so many different what else? The South. Now here's where I realized how kind of how the East Coast was. Remember when they had those Source Awards that year? And I think Outkast had won for best rap group or something, and how
Yeah.
they was treated or whatever. And I was like, man, Outkast is dope, man. Why they treating them like that? But I just realized because like New York had that type of stuck up type of attitude, like, you know, it's we the we the creators of it.
Hip hop
You know what I'm
snobs.
saying?
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
what you mean.
snobs. Yeah.
Yep.
You know, so it was like the way they was treating Outcasts and everything, and like that in itself, like hip hop started growing, and the South started doing their thing. Atlanta started pushing that stuff out. Like hip hop was just growing, and that's the beauty of it. Hip hop is a culture. It's like not just that, but it's one of the last um um art forms that that was created. You know what I'm saying? And to see it grow like it has, because I'm gonna tell you something. In the beginning, when hip hop kind of first came out, they used to call it jungle music. Everybody hated it. Um, Everybody's mother hated it. Everybody's father hated it because they was like, I don't want to hear that. They used to be like, I don't want to hear that jungle shit and all that. What is it? That's not music. So and then I was introduced to people like the old school people that was, like the last poets and all that people who was speaking spoken word poetry, uh like Langston Hughes with music behind it, even though it was, it was a hip hop, but he was doing spoken word poetry on like jazz tracks in the back. Then I found out about Jocko and people like that. So it's just amazing. And Sugar Hill, now the song Rapper's Delight they were actually sued for that song because they used Good Times by Sheep. They used the actual music for that, and they were sued. And so we had I guess the artist had to learn that, you can't just use people's music like that. So they had to learn.
Kind of like MC Hammer and fucking Rick James come one for one, we're taking the beat.
Oh, Super Freak, yeah.
Yeah,
You
Super
can't,
Freak becoming Hammer Time.
yeah, so you can't do that. I mean, and people nowadays, the producers are so good now. They're really good. Like it could be a sample and you won't even hear it, but you got to have a good ear to actually hear it. So it's like anybody chime in when they want. Because back in the day, I was like, oh, that's such and such. We was like, yeah, that's my. You know what I'm saying? So it was like we was giving it love and embracing the new the culture, the new a new genre of music. So hip hop is one of the newest genres of music, and look how far it has went. Look how far it has gone, and it's just amazing to see the growth of it. And there was one time when I stopped liking it because I really come from an R&B background. So R&B is always going to be my first love. But even though I was there from the beginning, because I was young, but I was like, because I wanted to hear, like, it was like when NWA and them came out, I was like, I don't like them. But then I started to like them, because it started going because hip hop had became like, it was about like having fun and everything. And there was some social, songs, that dealt with like issues, but it was also, you had hardcore rappers in the beginning, like Schoolie D and all of them, you know, gangster rappers and all that. But it's all about elevation. It's all about, people. It's about them telling their story from where they come from. So I'm gonna pass the mic so somebody else talk. Oh sure,
Well, it's when you're on a roll, you don't want to interrupt because people lose their train of thoughts.
Nah, I can go on and on.
I remember
I was.
my
Go ahead. Go ahead.
my first American band I ever heard was, I believe, it was an R&B group, Profile. I listened to Liar. That was one of the first songs I ever learned here in America. Most of my like knowledge of American, sadly, I'm not into hip hop and rap as much as, sadly, I was more of a Queen. Like, I love Queen. Honestly, this is kind of one of my embarrassments. I was a huge fan of Adele because her voice is fucking on point. And
Yeah.
I was raised in a like, a lot of my upbringing was mostly like around like orchestras. So my family was very musically oriented. So when I was a kid, we listened to, like, symphony number 5s, number 9s, the sonatas by Beethoven. And then eventually we like, when I was like, by the age of 10, like, they told me to pick up the piano. So I started learning piano, Beethoven songs like symphony and Mozart's. And that was kind of like what I was orchestrated to. when I came to America, I
Oh,
picked up like Red Hot Chili Peppers is my favorite band by far. I love those guys.
one of mine
Yes,
too. Yeah.
exactly. Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Nirvana.
Never exactly. You can't hate on Nirvana. You know, I used to like the the one song I heard by the Proclaimers. You know, fucking if I can go 500 miles and I would walk five. Like fucking
Oh yeah.
the
Yeah.
Proclaimers. Like Train. I used to listen to Train a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Back in like the
Yeah.
early 2000s when they ruled the world. But honestly,
Yeah.
I was not
Yeah.
around when these revolutions hit. I kind of parasitized the revolutions, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Linkin
mean,
Park.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Linkin Park was huge. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Linkin Park. What I've
Mm-hmm.
I
done.
love Linkin Park.
Exactly,
Love
man.
Linkin
Rest
Mm-hmm.
in peace to the homie Chester.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I gotta love the Red Hot Chili Peppers, man. They all survived the coke binges of the 90s, the early 2000s, and they're
When I
still
seen him
strong.
performing a few years ago, he was still rocking the no shirt and everything. I was
He's
like, look at shouts out.
he's rocking the 90s, man. He survived the opioid crisis. God bless him.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
survived the
Anthony
AIDS of the
Kiedis.
80s. He
Yeah.
survived the AIDS epidemic. He survived the crack
Yeah.
epidemic. God bless him,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Deborah
Yeah, that was the
Harry.
grunge scene, man. A lot of that, I'm from Seattle, so
Oh.
I've lived all through that. Music was
Oh
very. I
yeah.
think we were younger, and music was more like we didn't care. Like now, there are people like go to strict genres, but I could have sworn when I was coming up, well, I listened to everything. I know music like I could just you play anything. If I'm in the elevator, I know the words. You know what I mean? It's just I just
Yeah.
know so many varieties of music. But pointing out something you brought up that crap with the Outkast. Outkast's second album is probably one of the best hip hop albums. Period. It's just that good. And like you said, they got no respect as the Source Awards because, to be honest, that was really the beginning of the Southern takeover. Because if you really think
Mm-hmm.
about it, a lot of the New York scene, the East Coast scene had died off. Where
Mm-hmm.
the generation they had, Wu-Tang had been around for a long period of time. You had Nas, you had, but these guys were aging, and then with Biggie when he
Mm-hmm.
died, it kind of took one of their matriarchs away. So the South, like you said, they started, they kind of brought like that kind of Southern party groove and it went national. But like I said, Outkast was the first version of that because they had a kind of a gangster rap, but you see what it evolved into because that's really what they were about. It was that musicality more, kind of groove
Mm-hmm.
music. And so that's I feel like that's why they were coming down because really there was a time period where, like I said, the East is the king, and then it went over to the West, and that's when it was shifting hard to the South, and that was their last ditch of we ain't gonna listen to it. But like you said, that album, that as a group, that was one of the best groups. Period. They kind of started the Southern movement because everybody else came out, the Jermaine Dupri's and all that. I mean, not Jermaine, but all the other stuff after that. Because to be honest, a lot of Southern artists you didn't even know they were from the South for a long time. They were just, it wasn't like nobody was repping like, this is Atlanta and all that stuff in their music. A lot of them had to move, even like Master P. He had to move out to the West to kind of get. Then later, he brought the New Orleans, but he was really New Orleans, a lot of that. But really his station, the base was, a lot of it was on the West Coast. But like you said, that music has evolved. And when you brought up KRS-One, I forgot KRS-One. I like low key, like if I ever try to diss East Coast music, KRS-One is one of my favorite lyricists of all time, period.
Mine too.
There's no comparison. Like his skill level is just, even now I've seen him drop some flows, and then now he'd be talking some knowledge that just makes you know the stuff he was spitting, he really believed it the whole time. And that's why I got respect for him.
Yeah. He's always my favorite. Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say, now when KRS-One made The Bridge Is Over, he completely destroyed what's that kid's name from Queensbridge? He destroyed him. You know what I'm talking about? What's his name? Yeah, well, whatever. That's how nobody even remember And I remember him because he made the bridge. But KRS-One literally destroyed him. And you know who else KRS-One destroyed too? Remember that group that made PM Dawn that made Set Adrift of Memory?
Yeah.
When he pushed him off the stage that time? And he came and did a David Ruffin on him. Pushed his I was like, yo, I didn't know he was getting down like that, yeah. But he just came and just that was when he was young and rambunctious. But like, hip hop man it's just
Well, that's
off.
what made hip hop more quality back, because there's a lot of artists that got blew up from rap battles that really right now would be the best rap artists in the game. You know what I'm saying? But that's how that's why the music quality was so much better, because it was all like, see, they have rap battles now, but that shit be bullshit. They be talking in the background. Like, they don't really legitimately think, oh, I'm better than you. I'm about to out rap you. I'm about to outflow you, whatever. That stuff is non-existent, not the same way as it was then. Because there's, like you said, there's a lot of artists that KRS-One that's murdered. Even though, what I think, like, even if you take it up to LL and Cannabis is one of the dopest lyricists of all time. But that fool just went against the wrong person, the industry, LL, and they got at this. He disappeared. And it's like, what? Like, LL Cool J? Like, I'm sorry, that second round knockout with the Mike Tyson, man, that track is so hard. And it just like, but that's what music was. They were more interactive in the battle, but it brought the best out of everybody. Like, I see somebody right there like no Vaseline and stuff like that, man. It's just like, you force the other people to raise their game. Otherwise, you could get really knocked out the music industry if one bad diss track was going to finish your career.
Well, could you make a case that, again, but you got, like, from one point of view, it's kind of like all things I would imagine in life. When there's a revolution to improve, there eventually hits that climax, and then everything kind of starts to stagnate. I feel like we can apply that to almost everything, music in particular. You could make a
Yeah.
case for when music was it was on the rise, and then you hit the
Mhm.
prime years, the golden years of whatever your favorite lyricists were, et cetera, et cetera. And then nowadays, everyone just follows the trend. So I feel like that
Yeah.
applies to music, boxing, and just like politics. Like, even America
Mhm.
was like, the foundation of America is like that. You have the prime presidents leading up, then you have like the mid, then you have the golden years, and then you kind of just go downhill. That applies to everything, I would imagine.
Right. But King made a good point, and you did too, Avo Dave. I'll tell you something. Some people, when you talk about cannabis, right? He was a great battle rapper, but he wasn't like a person who put. Some people are great at battle rapping, but they may not be great at putting albums together. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
And
no,
it
I know
just
exactly
doesn't.
what he was good at
Yeah.
the flow part, but as the overall image, and I mean, even just LL's image, kind of a little short dude with a big mouth. Like, he could battle, like, in the trenches, he was good to go. But it's like, dude, like, can you have a whole album that somebody will listen to? Because I'll be honest, like, I could probably only think of a couple other songs that he probably had 2 albums, but he was one of them hit and miss artists. Like, when he hit, it was going to be like massive, like nuclear bomb. But other than that, he couldn't carry the regular stuff like you're saying. But because LL was the whole image, he had the image. He was the industry. Like, he meant
So
more to the
consistency was his
industry than the
problem.
battle. Yeah. So when he lost, like, to be honest, he
Yeah.
lost that battle. Like, he destroyed him. But it's just LL meant more to the industry because of his whole presentation. Like,
Right.
he had audience, he sold out crowds, he had more of a bigger he had a more of a overall
Marketability.
type of image there. Yeah, marketability, that's perfect. Than Cannabis did. But, like, just like you were saying though, Ivor, what happens is it becomes like you said, become more like it's a trend, it comes cliche. It's like those artists were coming from, like, when these dudes were talking about rapping on the Brooklyn Bridge, they have been there. They were in the projects. They were in the brick city. You know what I mean? Like, now these people, like, they're not even life has gotten extremely easier in America. Like I mean, it's bad parts wherever you go, whatever. But these guys that coming in are becoming like when we talk about the Quavos or whoever else, they're becoming gangsters after they get famous. It's like, what? Like, how are you now a gang member? Like, they don't
The
even know
love for
what
the
that
street
lifestyle is
while you
like.
live in a mansion.
Yeah, like you're like above middle class person. You went to school in a uniform, and now all of a sudden you're thugging. It's like it's so unauthentic because the music career. I mean, it's been orchestrated that way. But those dudes back in those times, like they were really living those lives. Like they were really seeing that stuff. Even if they weren't doing it, they were seeing it. They were seeing Nas was seeing crackheads arguing in the back of the stairwell in the what I'm saying, they saw that stuff, like it was really going on. So when they were rapping, they were just reflecting like it was their areas. Like every time an artist would come out, like I said, we were talking about Outkast. Their first video is in the Atlanta woods. I've seen those type of woods like that's where they were from. Like it was authentically where they were from, what they had going on. And now it's just so commercial. It's pop music. That's what most hip hop is now. It's pop music.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason for it, because again, at the end of the day, it's a business, correct? So with all businesses in mind, you have to understand your appeal. So I would imagine, again, I was not around during the prime of quote unquote of music, or at least of hip hop, but companies, from personal experience, you don't need the real thing. You just need a proxy to resemble it. You just need like, for example, the man, like, for example, I don't know any of the current rappers, so I apologize. It's very bad to make this point without knowing the current rappers. But from what I see, all songs hit the same points: money, bitches, cars, shoes, whatever. So you don't have to live in that like thing. You just have to appeal to those 5 points and go with the trend. And I feel like I'm repeating myself, but that's the reality of it. We live in an age of faux. When I mean faux, I mean FOUX, like fake. We live in an era of just fake appeal.
But you know what you said, I mean, to some degree, but it wasn't like that, because when I said the elements, the culture, that's what it became. But you have people like Most Def that's talking about some real shit. You got people like Black Thought that's talking about some real stuff. Like, it's not always like that. But that whole like cookie cutter thing that you talked about, the proxy, that's what I was gonna say earlier, but we were talking about the Megan Stallion thing. See, with these artists, it happens. They want you to be the next Beyonce, or they want you to be the next Rihanna, and this is what.
Sorry.
This is what happens in the music business. Do you know how many people sounded like Michael Jackson, but they weren't Michael Jackson? It's just.
Well, I imagine there are exceptions to my blanketed statement that I made, but the reality is we mentioned, for example, I mentioned mumble rap earlier on. Whoever originated, be it Future, be it Migos, whatever. The reality is everyone is now a clone, a proxy of it, because that is what works. And in that same breath, when Drake was popular, I imagine there was an era where even Kanye was popular. So with all that in mind, like there were like people, it's kind of like, if I can relate it to boxing, it's kind of like everyone wants to be the Mayweather. Everyone wants to be the guy who makes the most money. So they emulate their styles around that primary source in hopes of emulating some of its success. That's kind of what I was just like implying.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because obviously there are like the real deal exceptions in every generation, but from what I'm seeing from this one, again, it could just be my limited understanding of music, but a lot of it is just emulating what works. The amount of time I've
penalty for it. There's no penalty.
Exactly.
There used to be. You used to get. They used to call it biting. They used to come down on you. Like, here's the thing about. Okay, so Bone Thugs and Harmony, right? There was a group that came out, and I swear to God, but people say whatever, but they copied their style. Crucial Conflict. Now, Crucial Conflict sounded like a poor man version of Bone, but people would call them out for it, like, yo, bro, y'all don't even like, yo, y'all are trying to bite their style. You know how many albums they had? Like one. So it was like there was
Yeah, I
a
mentioned
penalty
them
for
earlier.
doing that.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't come out like there's no artist that sounds like Scarface. There's no artist that sounds like E40. There's really no artist that sound like Wu-Tang in them. There's no artist that sounds like KRS-One. So what happened, like being authentic and being different was what the push for. But like you said, once it became commercial, and commercial is about plug and play. The same
mainstream
we ain't gonna
appeal.
reinvent the wheel. Let's keep rolling the same thing over and over again. And when they don't like it, we'll tell them they like it because this is all we're gonna give them. And that's how it is now.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right because it just ties into the hip hop and also in back in the 70s, right? In the R&B or whatever, everybody had their own style. Okay, Stevie Wonder and Michael Jackson had a whole different style, but they're both legends. You get what I'm saying? And they both started as child artists, but they're both geniuses.
I would also add that I feel like this all just ties back to mainstream appeal. Like there's always going, like, for example, you and King of King, for example, are more into music, like, like DMX, whatever, all of that, like you understand the history of music. The reality is a lot of people are casual fans of something, of a certain genre. So when you have that like, again, this kind of ties into this, like it's a term in what's a blanket statement, where it's like you have to get as many people under this statement as possible. So for example, when you make in music currently, make the song as wide accessible, no matter how like unoriginal it is, make it as accessible as possible to get as many ears onto it. So there's no message behind it. Like there's no meaning behind the music right now. The meaning behind the music is like it's the same as it's been for like the last couple of years. Get bitches, I got money, I got chains, I got this, I got that. There's no ethos. There's nothing to be spread out. There's just, again, it's just to get as many people listening as possible.
But that's why
it's
I was
like you were
telling
even bringing
about
up a lot of those grunge groups, man. Like if you think about it, a lot of them fizzled out because of that. Because the mainstream is so fucking dominant. Like we don't even have genres like that. Like, man, I'm trying to tell you, like I can recite whole Linkin Park, Nirvana. I can just go. I'll do some Megadeth. I am so versatile in music, but even now I think to myself, the selection's all the same. Even the ones that are doing other genres sing the same similar shit. It started when it became so deep, like a lot of this American Idol type shit. Like, oh, we just have another artist the next year. We'll just have another one the next 6 months. We'll just have another one the 6 months after that. And it has no soul to it. It's just music.
It's like a conveyor belt of music.
Yeah, exactly. A conveyor belt. And they
Conveyor
keep
belt.
on just tweaking that. Another thing is when they stop valuing people that actually had authentic talent.
Yeah.
Now I can sit here, I can make an album. Like I just seen an app the other day. Yo, it got you sounding like you could sing. It got auto-tune in your phone, bro. It's like, what?
On the more technical aspect of music, on the more technical aspect of musical, I noticed that, and this is just something I've been seeing that's prevalent, I'm afraid, in more of like because again, I'm more of a rock and that genre type of person. And they will use the same chords in different variations. So it'll always go from A minor to C to G to D. Exactly. Or it'll be a variation. For example, the song "Radioactive," correct, by Imagine Dragons. I've seen 17 spin-off variations using the exact same chord for different strumming pattern.
Yep. Chord structures are the ones that have been used all the way through the test of time. Because they are, for some reason, they resonate with people and they're very popular. It makes a hit track. Those chords, that chord sequence that you was just saying, whether it's in hip hop, R&B, pop, those chord structures make hits. They discovered, yeah.
Yeah, it's just something I've picked up. Like this applies to almost all genres. For example, when you focus more towards the Latin American aspect, they will focus more on a flamenco style, and it always sounds like it has the same underlying so it just sounds cookie cutter even on the most technical levels. And this is not even getting into like the lyrics, the meaning, the message, whatever. It's just like on this fundamental level, there's minimal change. So how can you expect effort from the singer when the composer is putting minimal effort into changing it?
No, you're right, man. The biggest thing that happened, I think, generationally, because of our entertainment sort, like Lisa, even for a long, like we grew up in households where, first of all, there was points in time where TV was unwatchable. There wasn't nothing on, so we always had music playing. You always had music playing, so you would hear your parents' music, you would hear your grandparents' music, and you're like, "Oh, okay, fire." And then you would hear so it's like generationally, you would interact with the music. So you didn't have to like. I never saw the Isley Brothers freaking live, but I know my dad loved them. He played them all the time, and I can sing every word of their songs from like the 50s. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but it's like. So but as TV became more dominant, when it went from 10 channels to 250 channels, but you only watch 4 of them, it just kind of fizzled out. Even the video stations, like I don't know if it's for everybody, but I'll be honest. Like if you in the 90s, if you went into any person's house, and it didn't matter if they were black or whatever, then BT or MTV was on, and it played all day long, and that's just all they listened to.
The box. Music,
yeah. MTV and all that. Yeah. Remember video?
It wasn't little videos, and we didn't have videos. That there's no YouTube, there's no video. So, as you can see now, it's slowly getting the attention span is shortening and shortening. Now we're down to 40-second video. Yeah.
The songs I write, they're like 2 minutes and 30 now. Before it used to be 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Now there's hardly no writing those because everybody's got attention deficit disorder. Clearly,
that has never been more accurate than when my little sister. As again, I'm one of my favorite songs is "Stairway to Heaven." It's one of the first songs I ever learned on the guitar. But
that's my favorite group.
It's one of my favorite songs. Them and like the Court of the Crimson King. I'm a huge fan of those songs, like those longer songs. My little sister, man, she'll sit through like a minute or 2 minutes of it. She's like, man, this is boring. And I'm like, man, get the hell out of here.
Out of here, yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
Because they don't have attention span. We grew up with Michael Jackson having 7-minute tracks.
Exactly.
Right. But you know what, guys? If you go back, a lot of the hit songs in the 60s and 50s were only 3 minutes or 2 minutes and something.
Yeah. But then you had house music that was 7 minutes long, 10-minute tracks and stuff, dance music.
Yeah, that came out in the 70s with disco. That came out with disco when they started. That's when the songs started getting longer.
For the most part, it was 3 minutes, 30 seconds. That was, for the most part, what songs were. Now they're just all mad short. All songs since over the last 10 years, they've become shorter and shorter and shorter.
One of my favorites
is like apps where you start buying single songs, because we used to have double CDs and there was 40 something. Like you could throw a seat like, and here's the other thing. No skip button needed, man, because if you threw a CD in somebody you like every song, now there might have been one on there you like, I don't want to listen to that, but you would listen to the whole thing through. Now they have an album, and really there's one. I won't put it all on them. It started in the early 2000s where a person would have 12 tracks on their album, and really only 2 of them because would be any good. And back in the day when they had 15 tracks, the one that was commercial was not the best song on that album. That would be just the one that was commercial, but there'd be 2 or 3 tracks on the album that were better. Now they got 12 tracks, and the one that they released is the best song on the album, so nobody wants to buy the rest of the album. So it's just like it just like you said, it just shortened. The effort isn't there. The quality of the music isn't there.
It's just fillers. They get you to do like 2 standout tracks on your album, and then the rest are just fillers. Before, artists would record like 100 tracks before they whittled it down to 10 tracks, 10 solid tracks.
An example.
Record the tracks and you can record 15 of them, and they're all going to get on the CD.
Mhm.
An example would be like the Rolling Stones, man. When you have their tracks, like all of it is good. Like there's like all of their music to an extent has some appeal. One of my favorite songs is Sympathy for the Devil, and it's like it's 6 minutes, but it doesn't. But here's the thing: it's like when the music is good, it, like you don't feel like you're counting down for it to finally end. Like now, like nowadays, I'm in that stage where it's like, man, how much longer is this song? Because it doesn't resonate.
Now I'm just like I have to play it for like 4 times before I really like consume it, because by the time you get chorus, the first hook, it's fading out. You're like, oh, this is fucking hell. Let me play this again. You have to jack it back. And then it's weird how
It's the microwave generation. That's literally what it is. They're like, bing, like it's just they can't. Even in their effort of their music, they can't maintain somebody's attention for more. 10 minutes is the marker for anything. It's like, yo, are you kidding me? But you can get these kids to sit down and watch a Marvel movie for 4 hours. It's like, man, so it's possible, but it's just like you said, Shan, that they come out, the music quality, like you said, you have to go back. You like a lot of music now, I feel like you got to make it grow on you. You got to like, whereas back then, you was like, oh, what's that? Like, you would come and be like, oh, what a fire. And you just play the whole thing through. It wasn't okay, let me have to run it back because what was he like? What did that go together? Like, you having to break it down to see if you even like it. Or if it's just more natural, you just got into the groove. And like I said, that was just amount of effort. That's why, like I said, speaking of tracks, that's why Tupac's been dead for 25 years. And this dude probably released more albums being dead than he was live. Because they just have music that they don't even use. They just throw into like it's like this is no. We make 100 tracks. We're gonna pick the top 20 and put them on the album.
Right. Yeah.
So I like stuff like. That sounds so lame, innit? That's what comes with the fucking.
Who is that? I remember that
Drake
song.
and Josh shit is this?
But it comes with a soundboard on my soundboard. It comes with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know. Let me play it a bit longer. Hang on.
I remember that group.
Bro, it's like the most basic bar chords on the guitar.
Chords that me and Ivo's talking about, so it will sound familiar to you. We probably have never heard this ever. But because they're using the chords that we were saying, the familiarity chords, you think you've sung before.
All songs I hear nowadays, it's either E minor going to a G to an A minor to a C major, or it's something like it's like an A minor going to an F to a C to a G. It's like it's the same 6 chords going through the same 6 patterns. The only difference is the style upon which you strum or pluck the guitar. Even
I'm grateful for
the piano's not an exception either. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I'm grateful for just exploring different music and knowing about the Count Basies, knowing about the Cab Callaways, knowing about the Duke Ellingtons, knowing about the band leaders, and knowing about the ragtime era, knowing about these different eras. The jazz is a very nice genre of music. Beautiful.
You like
I'm grateful for the I like jazz. I'm grateful for all of that.
I don't sit down and listen to it, but I'm grateful for it. I'm a bit of a pop kid.
Right. See, the thing with pop music is it just doesn't have soul to me. That's the only thing. I like pop, but it just like to me, like Led Zeppelin is one of my favorite rock bands.
God bless.
I like him because he has soul. Like, and I don't mean soul as soul music. You can feel it when he sings. Like Janis Joplin, you could just feel it. It resonates to my soul.
Real music, yeah.
I would say in that same one, Guns N' Roses, man. Every time they sing, man, god damn.
I can't stand him.
Oh my goodness.
I don't like Axl Rose. Well, he's a good singer, though.
The human or the singer? Because like there's a distinction.
November Rain. in the cold November rain. Remember that was about 10 minutes long with that video. Sometimes you need some time on your own.
If you know Fleetwood Mac, Fleetwood Mac, Tusk was great.
I gotta play these songs. Like maybe if I take it off monetization, do you know what I should fucking do? Sometimes I just want to just make us hang out without it being.
I'm kind of sad none of us mentioned Metallica. That makes me sad.
Hang on, let me just.
Damn.
Metallica. Yeah, I don't go that deep in the Uzdania. No, I'm not there yet.
We didn't mention Metallica or AC/DC.
Yeah.
I know that. We know them. Yeah.
We know them. We know them before you, Ivo. You just come in.
Oh, I've been listening, bro. I was in the womb and my parents were listening to AC/DC.
Yeah, you're just born. We are pre-ADDBC. We are BC, fam. We are BC.
All right, calm down with your Paleolithic asses, man.
You came AD. You came when it was AD, BC. We was before Christ. That's how old we are.
I'm not a fan of metal, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
I wonder if I could play snippets.
I wouldn't do that because you're.
No, it's over hybrid. And I hate that they do that because.
Yeah, but what if I take it off monetization?
We'll see if
they'll still DMCA strike your videos. Like, for example, big like YouTube channels I've seen, like you have like you even use this, like for example, you use the fucking A minor chord, but it vaguely sounds like an A minor chord from a different song. Yeah, and you get your entire video struck, and it's like,
well, they just claim all of my earnings on that video, on that episode. I know, but I mean, my members, I don't really do it to earn on a member. It's only because it's gone from a non-members to a members. I never usually monetize our members only because it's only a few of us in here, so I mean, you don't get money from like 20 views or do you know what I mean? So I never monetize the members only, but it's only because we transitioned from non-members to members. But I mean, it would be nice just if we could just play like 10 seconds. You can put, I don't know.
Of which song?
Who's there? Do you know what we could do? Do you know what we could do and how it works? Like you could end the I could end the broadcast and we're still here and then we could play whatever we want.
Facts.
That is true.
Would you like to do that? It's up to you. Ben, you would have to no, he doesn't get on the panel. Yeah. He doesn't get on. He hasn't commented anything anyway, so he's probably
he was talking to me earlier for a little bit.
Yeah, because I want to play
that's cool.
Yeah, because I want to play something.
Yeah, let's do us, man.
All right,
that irritates me. That's the one thing about YouTube is the worst. I understand but if you got I don't understand how some dudes walk around and they'll be in the gym and there's gym music playing and it's clearly copyrighted music and they don't strike them for that shit, but it's stupid.
Yeah, you do, because when I report on like Anthony Joshua when he's in the gym or any fighter and they got music on, I have to mute the music. And that's why you hear me put my track underneath it instead.
The state of YouTube is so fucking ridiculous.
I know. Ban you, YouTube. Well, yeah, fuck you, YouTube. Don't monetize us. We don't give a fuck.
The state of YouTube